Hello!
Hey, welcome back. Where are you in the world? Are you okay?
Is everyone okay?
Because we're not.
No, we're not. No, we're fine.
No, we're okay.
Yeah.
Mentally, we're not okay. Physically, we're totally fine.
I'm just tired. So physically, I'm not okay. Mentally, I'm okay, USA.
Okay, so I guess physically, I'm okay. Mentally, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
So it's actually switcheroo.
I'm exhausted.
I
slept
crazy.
until 8:30, and you had to wake me up.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just be like, shh, and just roll over.
I know you did.
And go back to
I
sleep.
know, and I love you.
I haven't woken up past
You're an essential employee, you little essential bastard, you.
I have a paper. It says I'm important, but I'm not. Because I'm important to right now, and then right when everything's fine, I'll go right back to not being important.
It's basically like it's like Armageddon, right? It's like they just hire just a bunch of like fucking sad sacks off the street to go stop a fucking meteor to hit the earth. It's kind of like what your role is, essentially. Except we don't want you to die.
Yeah.
You can't die. You're not allowed to.
Cool.
Just letting you know that now. Anyway, hi.
I'll keep a memo. And hey!
When we're done, when this is all done, when COVID-19's done, we're going to frame that letter. We're going to be like the time.
Remember that time I was important. I was considered essential. Put that on the wall. We'll take down my non-existent high school diploma. Well, it does exist.
Yeah, I was just going to say, don't make it sound like you don't have one. Actually, you know what's funny? I don't even have my diplomas on me from my schooling. Like, my mom has them, and they're in the china closet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I don't actually physically have them. She was just like, oh no, I'm holding on to them. She doesn't even display them. She puts them in the china closet.
They're like
hides my failure.
They're like face down in a china closet. That's cool.
Yes. I was the only kid in that house that went to college. Fuck that. Anyway. Hey guys,
welcome
back.
Welcome back to Dead and Bored podcast.
I'm Dead.
And I'm bored. Sorry.
Did you eat something?
Yes.
Was that a lie?
Leftover nachos.
I had leftover Thai food from delivery because during this time, it's best to support your local restaurants.
Yeah, not chains. They're doing it.
Fuck those chains. No, do local restaurants and make sure you tip your Uber Eats.
Overly tip them because
they're seamless person or
they're
whatever.
Essential too. Okay.
Oh yeah.
They're essential to. Hey, I worked 11 hours. I'm tired. I'm not cooking.
I love them.
Ugh.
Everyone I've seen so far, I've been like, stay safe. Like, just very serious. And they're like, you too. And then they just run into, like, the mountains. And I'm just like,
they just drive into the sunset. You're like, bye.
You're the unsung hero.
And then roll credits.
Because honestly, they are an essential person in this whole thing.
The interactions now are so much more serious.
Yeah.
Because, like, this morning when we got, like, the breakfast, the guy was like, meet me halfway. And I'm like, all right. So I was already downstairs. And then he was like, here you go. And I'm like, thank you, have a good one. He's like, stay safe.
Yeah.
And then he just turned and slowly walked. It was like...
It's like an action movie.
And I was like, oh my god.
All this for a bagel?
It's like, is your name John Wick?
Do you imagine, like, John Wick has nothing else to do? He just starts delivering in the apocalypse?
Well, he killed everyone.
I know.
Well, not everyone.
We should do John Wick movies.
We could do that.
This is about Scream 3.
We're talking about John Wick, guys.
Sorry, this is our cold open.
It's terrible.
Speaking of cold opens.
But first,
yeah,
I do have to say one thing.
Absolutely.
On a gathering storm comes a tall, handsome man in a dusty black coat with a red right hand.
See, I always...
You do the wrong song every time.
Because I just want to go do 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 do, and it's not it's not the Scream song. It's red right hand. It's that, but in my head, it's like do 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 do.
No, it's like a bumblebee. When he puts you down on the ride.
Maybe that's I'm having. He says flashbacks.
It's like I got you, and then it's like that plays while you're going into the thanks guys. You know it's not. It's Optimus Prime like in your face like thank you for getting the Allspark.
First of all, I'm just having flashbacks of how much I love Universal Studios.
Oh my god,
Florida.
Remember that time during Halloween Horror Nights where we were like, hey, let's go on the Transformers ride. It's a 5-minute wait. We went out like 3 times in a row. It was the best day.
Honestly, it was the best.
Well, that was after the Mummy and Michael lied to us.
Well, yeah, on pot cookies, that was not fun. It was not fun for me.
But that's a whole different story.
We'll talk about that later. All right.
Theme parks episode coming eventually. But anyway, Scream 3.
Cold open. First of all, Scream 3 is a fucking awful movie. All right. The first one is
you're
great.
You're really jumping into it.
You know why? Because we had to watch it twice.
We did.
Originally recorded this.
We already recorded this.
But we fucked up the audio.
Because I'm a fucking idiot. I had some of the settings messed up.
No, it's not your fault.
It definitely
it is your fault. I'm just trying to make you feel better.
It's not working because I know it's my fault.
But it was 2 hours.
It was a 2-hour
of me
episode.
Just screaming.
No, us just yelling about how bad this movie was, which was funny. We said a lot of funny shit, but here we are.
So
a week later,
yeah,
when I finally have a day off again.
And I took off today because I just wanted to not work from my computer because working from home sucks dick, and I just wanted to hang out with you.
Mm-hmm. Cotton weary.
All right. So the 3 movies that have come out, this is the 3rd one, right?
Side note, so, you know this is going to be a long episode, right?
I know. I realize.
All right. I just want you to know.
The cold open, you get a beautiful Cotton Weary sitting in LA traffic.
Like you do.
Like you do. He's on his car phone just yelling about how he's not doing, I guess, reputable art. Yeah. You know, he's just doing all these like side pieces, and you find out that he's the host of a show called 100% Cotton, which sounds like a horrible version of. Do you remember the fucking guy, Jerry Springer's like bodyguard, Steve?
I never watched Springer.
You never watched? Okay, so Jerry Springer.
I never got entangled into the Springer multiverse.
So when I used to be homesick or whatever when I was a kid, like at 11 o'clock,
it would be Springer time.
It would be Springer time.
I always
and this is when they used to fight each other. Like they would show them fighting before you found out it was fake and everything. Of
course, so, I just watched MASH for 9 hours.
You're such an old man.
Sorry. Yes, accurate.
So I watched Springer, and one of his bodyguards is named Steve. Steve was this tall, bald-headed guy, and he just became his own cult following because everyone was like, Steve, because he would break up all like the, trash bot fights. God. So he had his own show where it was kind of like Jerry Springer-esque, where he would just like, one of the episodes would be like, men molesting their daughters. But he would just get up and just be like, why are you molesting your daughter? And the guy would be like, I don't know. Like, it was just so stupid. But anyway, Cotton, 100% Cotton, kind of.
How did... that was such a long walk.
Real fucking episode now, dude.
I believe it.
Is that you? That's your feet?
My foot.
Okay. Stop. I just wanted to extend my foot. I felt like I needed to. I had to. I needed to touch you. Human contact. Wow. Anyway, the point is that this 100% Cotton just sounds like a real piece of shit show where it's just trash TV.
From the little trailer you see, it looks like he's just like, we're gonna take down bad drivers in LA. So if you like injured someone, we're gonna call you out on TV and make you face justice.
It's literally it's
like the same shit.
Yes, exactly. Exactly the same shit.
But was the name as good as 100% Cotton?
No, 100% Cotton's perfect.
That's quality. The writer's room definitely high-fived and like freeze-framed after that.
And fucking jerked off each other because that's
that was after the freeze frame. They freeze frame, credits roll. It's in the way that you use it. And then
I just imagined
the little stinger is them, cranking down like, I'm so fucking funny.
Oh my God. And you know what? They are just in that moment.
Nailed.
That's
but then everything else they did. Hot, steamy garbage fire.
So you find out, sorry, this is so long-winded, but you find out that he's
this is going to be under 2 hours, all right? Jesus. It's going to be longer than the fucking movie.
And he's on the phone with his agent, just yelling about things. And then he gets a call on his cell phone. So he not only does he have a car phone, but he has a cell phone.
He's fucking killing it.
He's killing it.
What we're trying to say.
2 phones.
Double phone.
That's right, Cotton 2 phones.
Fucking Walter White over here.
Yes. So he picks up his cell phone, and of course it's this hot woman. You just tell she just sounds attractive. And Cotton is such an egomaniac that he's just like, oh my God, like, hey, you sound like a sexy woman. And the woman totally baits him and was like, oh my God, you really sound like this guy on TV named Cotton Weary. And he's like, guilty as charged. Literally could not stop sucking his own dick when he says that.
And he was definitely like jerking himself. He was like, oh, talk about me more.
And she was just like, oh my God, you sound so awesome. Like, I can't believe I'm talking to Cotton. Like, oh my God. So he gets off the phone with his agent to, talk to the girl because he's a fucking dog. And then you find out that the girl then breaks character and it's fucking Ghostface. I can't, in the last episode I kept saying Ghostface Killer over and over again. And I realized Ghostface Killer is from the Wu-Tang Clan. So just a heads up, like I'm well aware. I know that.
This isn't YouTube. Everyone's not going to call you out immediately.
I know, because this is a way more positive medium so far. Everyone has been super sweet. So the thing that I want to note though is that, and this is what fucking kills me. I think he first asked like, "Hey, where's Sydney?" He's just like, "How the fuck? I don't know. I don't know where Sydney is." He's like, "Oh, that's cool. By the way, I'm in your house right now, and I see your girlfriend. You've definitely stepped it up since Maureen Prescott." Which again, for the third fucking movie, they have been making fun of the fact that Sydney Prescott's mother is an uggo. It's fucked up. It's so fucked up. They like to go, "Oh yeah, she was a slut, but she was an ugly one," and it's just so sad. I felt so fucked up for her because it's just like, wow, you can't let this woman die in peace. You have to keep reminding everybody that she wasn't Sharon fucking Stone.
And they even play the fucking clip of him going, "She's no Sharon Stone." And it's like, guys, oh my God.
The actress who played the mom, I'd be like, come on, really? Like, I'm not that bag.
Like, am I getting
You don't
paid
need to
for all this?
2-bag me, all right? Like, we're good here.
No, this is a 3-bag.
That's how they're acting.
Yeah.
Fuck. He gets all upset. He's stuck in traffic, hangs up the phone. And my favorite thing is he creates a car accident while
Immediately.
Stuck in traffic. Instead of doing a hard right,
his gut reaction is to just punch it into the car that's half a foot in front of him. Slams it.
I love the woman's like, "Wow, what are you doing?"
So he starts speeding,
yeah,
causing all these car accidents, driving like a fucking lunatic, driving into oncoming traffic just to get home to his lady Christine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nailed it. We only watched the movie twice. And I still don't know everyone's fucking name.
It was Christine. No, it was Christine.
Holy shit. They cut back to Christine. She was in the shower. She gets out, goes into the room, drops a towel, doesn't fully dry off.
No, she doesn't fully dry off because she's still wet. And which I don't understand is like, why would you walk into your bedroom where you have a very furry carpet and then not dry your feet?
Yeah.
Like, you're dripping wet, bitch.
She didn't even have, like, her clothes, like, set on the bed
no.
next to her. It was just kind of like, all right, I'm in my room.
Do California people just do that?
Is that what you do, Cali? Cali people, please tweet at me. Dead and Bored Pod on Twitter.
When
Let
you
us know.
Get out of the shower, do you just immediately act like a monster, not dry yourself off, and then fucking walk into your bedroom with, like, wet stuff everywhere? God damn it, California people.
Just use the hashtag Drippy Monster if you...
Please do. Do hashtag Drippy Monster, please.
God damn. She drops the towel. They show that the phone line's been cut. Ooh. They show it for really long. You're like, what am I looking at? A towel,
I know.
Towel.
Yeah.
And then they make it split so much that it's like, all right, he cut the fucking phone. All right, we get
They're
it.
like 5 minutes just on this little box that would just show that they cut the lines of.
So then you hear a voice, and it's Cotton's voice. And she's like, what's going on? I don't want to play these Scream games.
Which makes me... Stab games.
Sorry, stab games. I'm getting, like, confused. It's like saying Cindy instead of Sydney.
Yeah.
Because we watched Scary Movie.
Yeah, that kind of made me question. Like, I think I wrote a note of, like, sexy stab games.
Sexy time stab games.
And I guess he really enjoys the fact of putting on the Ghostface outfit and trying to, like, attack her. And then ultimately, like, they just rub chicken pieces on each other. And then that's that.
They mash their butts together and start a fire.
Ew. So she's like, "Oh my God, Cotton, like, stop it. Like, I don't want to play your sexy stab games."
And then you hear him talk. Like, "Hey, no, I'm just playing around. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you."
Oh my God, you scared the shit out of me. And then he appears, and then she's like, "Ah!" And then she runs. She falls on the ground because she didn't dry off properly. And then she runs into I guess, like, their office or whatever.
The study.
Or the study, locks the door, and then you just hear Cotton's voice on the other side. That's like, "Oh my God, Christine, hey, like, I love you. What are you doing? Stop. Just kidding. I want to, like, see what your insides look like. Haha." And she's like, "Oh my God, no." Meanwhile, Cotton's still driving like a madman, like, causing 75 fucking accidents. Finally gets home. He lives actually in, like, this really nice apartment building complex or something. I don't know. He runs up the stairs. His door's open. That's not good. The one thing I think I noted was, like, really nice apartment. Like, it was really big. I was like, this is really pretty.
He's making good money off 100% cotton.
Who isn't, right? He comes into the house and 100% cotton's actually on
it's
the
on.
TV.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about Ghostface is that he's very clever in turning things on and being like, it's always, like, very appropriate for what it is. So, like, of course, Cotton coming home to have Cotton be on TV.
Well, I disagree with that because when he was getting Christine's attention, he turned on the radio and Creed started playing. He was like, "What if I avenge?" And it was like, wow, let's stop doing that.
How much do you think, like,
Creed
side
got?
note?
Because they had the poster, like,
they had
prominent
the Creed
later
poster,
on.
And that What If song was, like, I think that was a song for Scream 3.
Their newest song, yeah.
Yes.
Or they made that for Scream 3.
See, I don't know if it was made specifically for Scream 3.
Or that was, like, on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Remember when movie soundtracks were a big deal?
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
I miss
What's
those
your favorite
days.
movie? Sorry.
What's my favorite movie soundtrack?
Yeah.
Kingpin. I know it's random, but first of all, I love that fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I love all the music that's in that movie.
It's really funny.
And I actually know all the words. I think like every song that is because
because
I used to play the CD all the time.
That's so funny.
That's the only CD that I would say like that one. Actually, that one and Rushmore. I love the soundtrack to Rushmore, but it's like all older music.
Yeah,
you know.
That's fine.
I have very. Weird
I never did like a movie soundtrack. Yeah,
it's funny
Never did that.
because I feel like when we were smaller, that's when CDs came out.
No, I know
mean,
that.
like, we had cassettes, but like that's when CDs came out,
Yeah.
and it was a big deal.
I know they were like
For
from
soundtracks.
from the movie Scream 3.
No, I take that back. I would say like one of my favorite ones is Guardians of the Galaxy. That's
That
a
was a
really
great
good
soundtrack,
soundtrack.
yeah, that
that
really
would be
was.
more recent, I would
Definitely
say.
the most recent.
Yeah, that's a great soundtrack.
Yeah.
Not number 2. I don't like number 2.
We don't talk. Number 2 is terrible.
Number 1, it was just perfect. The
Fantastic.
whole way through.
Absolutely agreed.
They paired it very well.
Other than Guardians, I really can't think of a movie that like heavily focused on their soundtrack like that.
No. And I think for like the Scream ones, a lot of it was like really weird, like 90s music.
Oh yeah,
90s rock,
Yeah.
like No Name.
nothing crazy.
that I can think of that's like, yes, except for Red Right Hand. But this one, so it was a heavy influence of Creed.
It was Creed and Fuel were the two big that played during the movie.
Fucking Fuel. I
I know.
forgot about them.
Goddamn.
Ugh, gross.
Yeah.
So, well, to your point though, like I think Ghostface is interesting when he wants to distract somebody.
Maybe the killer just likes Creed. He's like, guys,
He loves him some Creed. Cotton comes home. He turns off 100% Cotton, even though he's like in love with himself.
I'm surprised he didn't just be like, I look good.
Well, that was the thing that you were mentioning to me is that one of the fun facts.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Fun fact. Pizza fact. Right when he gets into the apartment, he takes his coat off because he's been working out and wanted to show him off.
For the ladies.
He was like,
and
I want
men.
to take my coat off. Look at my fucking tonnage, bro. P.S. I'm going to get stabbed in 5 seconds.
But here's the thing, though. Like, I feel like he should have wore something tighter.
But he did come off set. He was working. So if he was wearing like a tank top, that'd be like, what are you, fucking business cash over here? You're wearing that coat, trying to look nice with your white on white
Oh my god,
outfit?
he had it was like a weird, like, linen-y kind of like, how do I put this?
Moment.
No, it's like what I imagine disgusting man on vacation down south would wear. You know what I mean? Like the kind of man that you're just like, I don't know. There's something weird about you that you obviously had a very weird past. Maybe you got away with vehicular manslaughter or something.
This is so specific.
You know, it does sound very specific. I don't have examples of it, but my mind's very creative. But I will say it kind of looks like that. Like he's just kind of like, I have a secret to hide, but I'm also going to wear white linen pants.
Mm-hmm. One thing we were also talking about, I'm going to just completely ignore that, like everyone else that just heard that shit.
Listen, you all know what I'm talking about.
All right, let's please. One thing we were also talking about during the second watch of this was who was Cotton before the whole Maureen Prescott stuff.
Exactly.
What
did he do?
What was his career? What was he like as a youngin'?
Right.
Like, what was he? Who was he? Who was Cotton Weary before Maureen Prescott?
Because anytime they showed Cotton Weary with Maureen Prescott, which by the way, like they always had like this weird footage of them together.
Yeah.
But like even on the news though, I think like they just showed like Cotton Weary and Maureen Prescott together walking around.
He leaked everything.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's
He
true.
leaked
true.
the Billy stuff. He leaked everything.
Because I was kind of like, how did the news get a copy of like Cotton Weary hanging out with Maureen Prescott? Like that's fucking random and strange. But anyway,
yeah. He probably sent everything anonymously or not anonymously, and was just like, "Hey, this shit's happening. She's loose. Am I right? Am I talking about it right?"
Well, and why would he do that? I guess I don't think you mean it like that. I think you mean after like she's dead.
No, of course, yeah.
Yeah, because it'd be really strange if she was alive and he was linking that to the news. Like, hey, by the way, there's a woman in
some loose ladies,
Woodsboro, right? California. I'm assuming it has to be California. Woodsboro that really loves to take a couple of dicks down at the Winn-Dixie.
But it was
Here
only
you
like,
go.
That's the thing is like they make such a big deal about it, but it was only like an affair. Like it was Cotton.
They made it sound like she fucked the whole town, but
with,
they only talked about 2 affairs in particular.
2, which I mean, yeah, it's a lot, but like
I know people that have done a lot fucking worse. So
everyone listening knows people that have caught way more peeps.
Yes, catching a D, catching a V, catching a whatever you want,
catching all the stuff daily.
Yeah.
You know,
multiple people, multiple time. Like no,
it's
so like 2 people. Like that's nothing.
Different time, but also not really because
no.
I'm sure that shit's always been happening.
sluts have been around for a long
Since
dawn
the
of
Stone
time.
Age.
Sluts have been everywhere. All right, dinosaurs and sluts go hand in hand.
They
Pretty sure there
do.
were slutty dinosaurs as well.
Wow.
Wearing that red lipstick.
Really? Whore red is your favorite?
Whore red and those white patent leather pumps on a Tyrannosaurus Rex just slutting it up in the valley. All right? That's what we all know, okay? I went to school. You went to school. We all learned the same thing.
Yeah, clearly.
Public school in New York City, they teach you
This
a
is
lot
what
of...
you learn.
Yes. I didn't have that fancy Long Island money, all right? I didn't go to school in Long Island. I went to school in fucking Queens. Basically bullshit. All right, anyway. This is the longest cold open
We haven't
ever.
got past the cold open. But we have a lot of questions about Cotton, that's why.
Yeah, so we don't know what Cotton does, but Cotton basically is, now he is like this, everybody loves Cotton. He's like a trash talk show host. He's in all these movies or whatever.
And all he wanted was fame. Was he?
That's all he wanted.
Was he just some guy that's like, hey, I want to be
He's
famous?
probably like
his
a
whole life?
fucking tool salesman or something. Something probably really just like
Generic, nothing crazy.
Yeah, he probably was like a
Probably.
fucking carpenter or something. I don't know. Like, I can't picture what he could possibly be doing. Because in Woodsboro, was a small town. It's not like they had...
He also didn't do anything.
Yeah, right. He went to jail for a year. Also, like, I guess after you have gone to jail for brutally murdering and raping a woman. Allegedly brutally murdering a woman. What career could you possibly have after that? You've been vindicated.
He got acquitted. He's good.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like after having all this press follow you around, right? How can you go back to being a fucking, stockroom boy down at the Piggly Wiggly? There's no way.
Hey, they're essential right now, okay? So don't talk about Piggly Wiggly like that.
No, and listen, those are unsung heroes. Cheers to you, salutes to you, Piggly Wiggly stock boys. But the point is, though,
Go get him, Gerald.
Mention one kid named Gerald.
In the watch, it was like, I just quit.
But I can't imagine why Cotton Weary would just want to be like, you know what? I'm going to go back to my life as a stock boy. No, I am in the public. Everyone now loves me because I didn't murder and kill a woman. Like, if anything, I saved the day now.
Well, that's the thing is he went from I didn't do it to he actually did do it.
Yeah.
To he saved
Sidney Prescott, the daughter.
So it's like, okay, he's not a bad guy. But he's kind of like scummy still.
He's kind of scummy, but like not...
But he's also kind of a weenie at the same time when you see at the end of 2.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think he's like a super, super scummy guy. I just think that he just wants to be loved. And I think he just wants to be like fame.
No, he definitely wants fame.
I don't think
people to unconditionally love him.
I don't think, like, Gail Weathers is scummy.
Yeah, because she's willing to do anything for money.
Cotton Weary is more like, I just want people to fucking, like, love me and suck my dick on an everyday basis. Like, that's it. He wants to wake up to a blowjob every day. That's what Cotton Weary wants.
He wants to wake up to that daily blow.
And he did until his wife or girlfriend got killed, you know? Point is in all of this is that...
just an episode about Cotton Weary.
I'm like, is this a Cotton Weary episode?
Should I just cut this and then just jump into the third one after the cold open? Because this is talking Cotton, okay?
Well, it is 100% Cotton.
I know.
Listen, the point is that
they
Cotton
don't
Weary
talk about
has
that character enough.
And I really wish they took the time to explore more stuff about him because it was interesting. Like now, after watching that movie for the second time in a week.
Oh, don't recommend it.
Which is fucking brutal, by the way. I have more questions about it. Cotton was the most interesting character in that whole movie, and he died within the first fucking 10 minutes.
He did.
So anyway, long story short, this is when
you still long. What are you talking about?
Long story short, finally, he's kind of at the door. He sees the stab marks in the door, and he's like yelling for his girlfriend's name, Christine, can you hear me? Whatever.
Yeah.
He finally like gets the door open. Christine comes out, hits him with the fucking golf club, and she's screaming like, "Why are you trying to kill me?" He's like, "Christine, I don't know what you're talking about." She then hits him with a golf club in the head. He falls down, and then he's like, "Oh my god, watch out!" And of course, Ghostface is behind her and stabs her, and then ultimately stabs him in the face. So that's when you find out then that the voice modulator is
so much better and can play other people's voices perfectly,
which is
even
kind of
when
amazing.
They're angry, which you find out later.
Honestly, for that technology back then, like now it makes sense with like deep fakes and everything like that. I feel like it's way more plausible.
It's more possible,
but not back then though. Back then it was still Talk Boy. Fuck out of here.
It was Talk Boy 2.
Yeah, that's the cool.
We finally hit the title screen after how long?
I think it's like 30 minutes. By the way, I'm sorry, y'all. But it's important, though, I feel like.
Talking about Cotton Weary is important, because now we can't talk about him ever again.
Rest in peace, Cotton. You joined the Tatum Club for
Justice for
people.
Tatum.
Justice for Tatum, justice for Cotton.
100% Cotton.
100% dead.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
Now, honestly, how the movie is laid out for the remainder of the film is confusing.
It's not good, but there are reasons for it not being good. Nev Campbell was shooting 2 other things. Party of 5 and something else.
Mm-hmm.
And she only had like 20 days to shoot this in between.
Which makes a lot of sense.
She also, like, her time was like
precious.
She had a different hairstyle in the other thing, so she had to get the Sydney wig put on every day, which took a while. Apparently over an hour or some shit.
Over an hour to shove her shitty hair in a shitty wig?
I think to make it good. Because her hair looked fine in this.
Oh, yeah.
It still looked like her hair.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's the movie magic, if you will. But one of the reasons I'm blaming the garbageness of this movie on is it wasn't about Sydney. She was in the beginning of the movie and the second half-ish to the end of the movie. And that's it.
Yeah. Sydney did not play a big role at all.
They focused on everyone else, which was a mistake. Because the other characters are fucking garbage.
Well, you get introduced to a lot of characters. Well, I guess the whole premise of Stab 3 is supposed to be Return to Woodsboro. So the idea of the movie is supposed to be looking back to when Maureen Prescott, I guess, was alive, when she died. And then I guess all the events that happened in Scream 1 and 2. And then ultimately, I guess, 3.
Yeah.
Or to wrap it up.
They don't explain too much about the movie's premise, but...
No. And that there were 3 different editions of it because they didn't want to have anything leaked online.
Yeah, which was also true for this movie.
Right. So it's actually kind of funny that this movie is very meta in a way.
At least it doesn't have fucking Randy saying like, hey guys, this movie is a movie in a movie.
But he kind of is though. Well,
I know it is.
We haven't even gotten that far yet.
There's so much more to hate.
When Cotton Weary dies.
Just talking about Cotton more when you can.
No, when Cotton Weary dies and you have your cold opens done right, you open up into like what Sydney's been doing. And Sydney now has a dog named Cherokee, which is a beautiful golden retriever. Which
fantastic pup.
Obviously the MVP of the whole fucking movie besides the denim king of fucking Woodsboro, jean jacket dream, Neil Prescott, but we'll get to him in a second.
I think you remembered Neil. I did not remember.
I
just call him Papa Press.
How could you ever forget his name?
I did.
Well, you're a fucking monster.
Thank you.
Just saying.
She's on a fucking desolate ranch somewhere.
In Monterey, I think. Who knows, really?
Sure, why not?
Well, she's in a ranch, and she's, like, walking with her cute dog, and she, like, lives in this really nice fucking house in the middle of the mountains.
Huge fucking fence, security, with, like, wire on top. Except for the gate she closes, which you could easily hop over.
If you brought,
details. A one-step ladder, you'd be able to be like, whoop, and get right up.
So fucking stupid.
So making those locks useless. But she's in some giant house by herself, and then you find out she's working. Well, I mean, is she like social work? Or is it like?
Well, no, she's like a counselor at like was it California or Los Angeles crisis counselor or something like that? Women's counselor?
It's
like a women's crisis counselor.
Yeah.
And her name is Laura from Monterey.
Mm.
And that's all you know. And she has the most depressing job of like listening to women who talk about getting beat by their boyfriends or husbands or
just hard times. She doesn't want to escape sadness.
Yeah, to go to even more sad.
She escapes everyone to spare everyone around her in case of more events happen, and also like isolate herself just to, be alone, which doesn't make sense because you want to be around people, even though the people she was around twice got murdered.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Think about if you were Sydney Prescott, if you already had 4 confirmed kills.
We're not focusing on the people she killed. We're focusing on the people that killed everyone she knew.
Well, I mean, I guess I can, to play devil's advocate, I guess I can understand why she wanted to be isolated because every group of friends she has ever had all dies. It cuts to Gale Weathers.
At the learning annex.
I know. I don't even know.
She's giving some fucking speech some lecture about being a reporter or journalist or whatever. And how you have to, be backstabby, and you're going to have to do some bad shit to get good stuff. And it's like, oh, really?
I love when the one guy gets up at the end of her speech and was like, is it worth it? And she's like,
But right when...
fucking snotty.
And then right after he said, was it worth it? Immediately some other woman's like, all right, that's it, everyone.
It was like the moderator broke it up. Now, the one thing I only noted for Gale Weathers was new hairdo, and she looked like a spring chicken. She had baby bangs that were so sharp on her face.
Oh my God.
Her eyebrows were way too thin. She was way too thin. She's a thin lady, but she looked overly thin.
Yeah, she looked too thin?
Yeah, she's so pretty, and it just did not make her look very pretty, this movie. I feel like this movie just made her look rough. Very rough. So that's when you meet the McDreamy guy, Detective Kincaid. And he's just like, hey, by the way, I'm Detective Kincaid. I love that you're, Gail Weathers. But by the way, Cotton Weary's dead. And at Cotton Weary's home, where they found him dead, they also found this photo. He's like, do you know who this is? And it happens to be a photo of a young Maureen Prescott. And she's like, oh my God, the murders? What?
Oh my God.
So then it cuts to
the stab set.
Yes, and that's when you see Stab 3. It's in this Hollywood studios.
You literally see the set from the first fucking movie.
You also note that there's a lot of heavy security because of Cotton Weary's Stab, and that they're closing down production for Stab 3. You then meet all the other characters that nobody really cares
aren't that important,
gives a shit about.
Like, you really only spend time with Parker Posey.
Right, who plays
playing
Gail Weathers
in the movie.
And she looks exactly like Gail Weathers from the first movie, which I thought was pretty funny.
Like, same outfit. And
literally same outfit.
No, it actually is the same outfit from the first one. And Gail comes in with, like, the lemon drop outfit.
Oh, the lemon drop dream outfit.
Fucking bright yellow, blinding, like, oh, God,
with a red shirt. With a red shirt. Like a pastel yellow and that baby bird hair. I was like, what the fuck is this? With that shitty yellow fucking purse.
That's obviously for recording.
Camera.
Oh, my God.
I was like, who is dressing this poor lady? I have thoughts about that, but whatever.
So many thoughts. Dewey comes up after all the characters start, like, talking about, like, oh, you're Sydney. I'm this person. I'm this person.
Well, yeah, I guess that's a very important part, is that Jenny McCarthy is playing Candy, who I guess is supposed to be played as Casey Becker from the first movie. Mm-hmm. They had another guy that was named Ricky that's supposed to play Randy. They had this new girl that was Sydney Prescott, and you find out that she won a talent search, that she beat 50,000 other girls.
Yep.
To be Sydney Prescott. And then you see, I don't even know, Tom, I think his name was in the movie. I think his name was Tom.
Yeah, who plays Dewey.
And they're all kind of like just bullshitting and talking or whatever. Yeah. And that's when you find out that Dewey actually has been hanging out with Parker Posey's character. And he was hired as a technical advisor, which this is what I don't understand about him, is that, okay, so the first one, he was actually like an actual deputy.
The only time he was actually a police officer.
The second time he's been like literally chilling in Woodsboro collecting probably disability or something like that.
Finger guns.
Right. He had nerve damage the whole 9 yards. He comes to the college to save the day to ultimately get stabbed again. The third movie, he doesn't have the nerve damage. No. So it's almost like he got stabbed again and it corrected his
He just has a limp and that's all
damage.
He has now.
Okay, fine. But it's like he wasn't doing anything at home. Mm-hmm. So they were like, well, we would love to have you here because you can actually give us detailed accounts of what happened.
My favorite part is
the leech.
Yeah, no, he absolutely is.
Yeah, like fucking leech.
He would be nothing if all of this shit didn't happen.
Yes, absolutely.
Just like Cotton.
It's like, but Cotton made himself famous, Dewey didn't. You know what I mean? Like, Cotton actually achieved some sort of
that's
thing,
very true.
While Dewey was just
a nobody in the second one who was just lost.
Pond scum. You pond scum.
You scum. He was just lost in the second one, and now he's just using his knowledge of all the horrible shit that happened in the first one to make a fucking movie about it.
He's the bottom of the barrel.
Literally.
He is the scum. So you find out that he's working with Parker Posey's character. Even though she has a bodyguard, he is just there to protect her. I guess they have like a weird friendship. I don't really fucking understand.
Yeah, even though Patrick Warburton is the security guard for
and he's
her,
like 8 times the size of Dewey.
Gigantic like he is, but he literally he's just standing there the whole movie.
So fucking
until he
dumb.
gets murdered.
So dumb.
It's like, why are you here?
It's so dumb. That's when you kind of also meet John Milton, who's played by Lance Henriksen. He realizes Gail Weathers there. And he's like, oh no, closed set. We got a closed set. And that's when you find out like Gail Weathers is actually working with the police, but too bad.
But he's not there, so nobody cares.
Well, actually, no, he is there.
No, but he walked away.
He's on the other side of the set.
We also didn't mention that Kincaid's with this other cop. I forgot his name. I wrote it on one of the later pages.
Yeah.
But he's the worst cop in the world. And all he does is just snarky remarks.
He was the comic relief in it. I looked at you today and I said, I remember seeing this in the movie theater. And I remember people laughing at his parts. And I just been like, why?
That's
it's
crazy.
Like not even funny.
All of the lines he does are just like, you're a shitty detective.
What was one of my favorite ones? They were like, think that one of us killed Cotton or...
The movie's called Stab.
Cotton
and he was stabbed. And it's like, fucking really, guy?
He was so New York, it hurts.
Oh.
I was like, oh, get this New Yorker out of here, you piece of... Get the fuck out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
You're garbage.
You do have a Jay and Silent Bob cameo and a Wes Craven cameo, which is really funny because as they were kicking out Gail Weathers, you see...
She cuts right in front of like a tour group and Jay and Bob towards the back of it.
And they turn around and they're like, hey, Connie Chung.
And she just flips them off. And that's it.
But that was actually kind of funny because, you know, she doesn't look Asian at all.
Nope.
But all right. So now the next thing I put down is Neil Prescott, Denim Dream.
I wrote Denim Daddy Returns.
So, which was, okay, honestly, this is probably like my favorite scene other than like trying to figure out like Cotton Weary's
The lifestyle of Cotton Weary.
Is that, you know, Neil Prescott is like cooking his daughter a really like good sauteed sort of a meal. And he's saying to her like...
So many grocery bags just chilling like, hey.
Because obviously she can't be an adult and go outside because she's like agoraphobic.
It's not even that.
She's not agoraphobic, but she acts like one though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she has a reason to be and she's still not.
Yeah. She doesn't take care of herself, bottom line. So daddy's there to like feed her a home cooked meal. And she's just, Sydney's more like, why did mom have a different life and like not tell us stuff? And he's just like, why don't you just stop being crazy and come home and I can take care of you? You're living in the middle of nowhere. Like isolation's obviously like, eating you up.
This is helping nobody. Come home.
Come home to your denim jacket dream of a house. We can have so much fun there. Come home. You can work down at the Piggly Wiggly. Everything will be good. And she's just like, no, I want to be a ghost because they can't find me if I'm a ghost.
Well, she said, this is one of the quotes I wrote down. Psychos can't kill what they can't find.
Oh, God. Is that about you?
No.
I mean, it is, but it's like, it's not about you.
Everything is about Sid. I wrote, how does she afford this place?
Yes.
How? Is Papa buying it?
Papa has to be financing
because it's a lot of land. That's not going to be fucking
Here's
cheap.
the thing. This, I think, well, when we find out at the end of it, it's been 4 years or something from like when the mother died. So technically 3 years, right? She was a senior in high school. She graduated high school. She went to college for what, 1 to 2 years possibly?
2 tops?
2 years maybe. She left college, obviously. She didn't graduate.
Ever got fucking murdered.
Not a lot of time has passed. I can't imagine being a crisis counselor if it's anything that I'm thinking of like what a social worker makes, which is literally fucking peanuts, which is sad.
Not even that. It's a work from home situation.
Well, yeah, it's probably even less.
That seems like it would be more like charity.
I don't think she's probably getting health benefits.
She's doing.
Are we even really discussing this right now?
Listen, we're breaking down the hard topics from movies that are very unrealistic.
It's a lot of things that I'm just kind of like scratching my head of like, how can she afford this beautiful place? She can't.
I mean,
she can't even afford the dog food, all right? For that beautiful Cherokee pup.
I know. She needs to get the good stuff, not the garbage stuff.
No, that dog deserves to eat steak every night.
Every night.
Every night.
Burritos.
Steak burritos.
Steak burritos.
Anyway, so they kind of have like this little pep talk, and that's when she's like still sad and crying and whatever. And then she has that weird dream. She has this weird dream sequence of her mother wearing a flowy frock.
White number. Her hair's in the breeze. It's fucking foggy. And she just walks up to the window and is like, ugh.
Yeah, she's kind of like, you're poison just like your mother. And that, so to me, I don't understand why. I don't know. Sydney kind of takes it on as like, there's something wrong with her.
Yeah.
But there isn't. It's really her mother, and they're just trying to kill Sydney because of her mother's actions.
Yeah.
Sydney is just like, unfortunately, just
she just has the name.
She's just there.
Blood.
Yeah, it's just a bloodline thing. It has nothing. She's not a shitty person. She's just only going to get killed because her mom was a slut.
Because of what someone else did.
Right.
She's paying years of fucking punishment for.
Correct. But she acts as if like, I'm poisoned too. It's like, not really. It's just more like your mom was the slut. Unfortunately, we can't double kill your mother, so we're gonna come after you. Actually, no, technically. Well, thinking about it here. So Scream 1, right? They kill Sidney Prescott's mother. You'd think it would be done. But then Billy Loomis was like, I only killed her because she fucked up my family.
Yeah.
Well, why would he want to kill her though? You know, I just thought about that. Like, why?
Well, maybe that was part of what you find out in the end.
Well, yeah, no, I understand that part.
Maybe that was like a silent reason why. It's like, hey, you kill the mom and then you kill the daughter because the daughter had what I couldn't get type deal.
Right, which you find out towards the end. Yeah. But I guess in just terms of Billy Loomis, it's like he already killed the mom. There's nothing else left.
I think it was like kill both of them and that's it. I don't know. But they were also fucking deranged, so it's like
Yeah.
trying to bring logic into.
I think that's my problem. I'm trying to bring logic to
But
something
also
that doesn't make sense.
killing someone for because your fucking dad cheated on your mom.
I guess that's what my
killing
point
that
is.
woman instead of like blaming your dad.
Your dad
being like, "Hey, why'd you put it in? What's going on?"
I know, and
maybe
then
you should
actually
get separated with your mom.
But
What's going on with your mom?
But then maybe also blaming your mother for leaving you too.
Yeah.
Like maybe thinking of it that way of like, why don't you be mad at your mom because your mom left you? Yes, like what happened is all fucked up, but obviously their marriage wasn't strong to begin with.
It seemed not.
So,
because
I don't know.
Papa went and did Maureen and then mom just bailed.
So it's like when you think about it, like when you try to dissect it more and more and more, it's actually not that good at all. It's actually a really kind of shitty story.
Well, yeah, but it's horror movies. Horror movies are never airtight.
No, they really aren't. Very rarely are
Unless
they.
they're like a one-off. Something like a third movie where you dig back into the past again. It's like that always brings up shit that'll fuck up the timeline.
And I think that's what...
Because it was solid. If you just did 1 and 2...
Yes.
It's solid timeline. Everything checks out. There's reasoning, kind of, for one of the killer in each movie.
Mm-hmm.
You have Loomis and Mama Loomis.
Right.
So, like, that makes sense. When you add fucking Killer 3, who was the originator, which was... Then it gets a little dicey.
And I think that's what it is. I feel like by adding this movie, it actually tarnishes the first movie.
Because you dig back into the timeline that was solid.
Right. And now you're adding all these little things in that, while they do show a good line of being connected, they just don't make any sense in terms of reasoning.
Most of them line up, but there's still a few that are like, I don't know about that.
So I think the moral of the story is this is the worst one, I think, out of the whole set. And it actually destroys a really good first fucking movie. Because even the second one, you know what? I take it back. Like, as much as it is a snooze, the second one.
The second one is definitely weak, but it's still,
I appreciate it, though.
It still keeps all the ropes tied off.
Yes.
Everything is good. All the time. The timeline's fine.
Yes.
It doesn't fuck with anything.
This just adds way too much stuff. They're like, well, you could do this, and then this, and then this, and then this. And when you put too much shit on the wall, it just doesn't make any sense. And I think that's really kind of what it boils down to. So, with that said, the next scene kind of breaks back to, like, the cast of Stab, Jenny McCarthy's ultimate death, which, you know, I'm not going to spend too much time on because she was kind of... She didn't really add too much into it other than, you know, being like, hey, I'm 35. I'm tired of playing a 21-year-old. I don't want to die naked. She gets killed. Yeah, nobody really gives a fuck about her.
But also, it was funny because she gets punched in the face and then she flies through a window and then gets stabbed. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, her kill scene was hilarious, but like...
And the most acting was done by her cleavage.
Yeah. She did not look good in that movie either. She's very pretty. I don't know. Maybe this was like just like a very weird year for everybody in the cast.
Everyone was having a time.
Dewey looked like shit. Sydney looked okay. Sydney looked fine. She was probably the only person that looked okay.
She was working. She was working 2 other fucking gigs.
The other ones...
She's doing all right.
They looked a little fucking rough. So past that, you now have like Gail and Dewey sitting together and you find out a little bit more about what happened
after 2.
Because 2 they were together. Yeah. So after, it sounded like Gail was with Dewey in Woodsboro for about a year.
Yeah.
And then she left for 60 minutes too. Because she was like, Diane fucking Sawyers.
So she waited until he got better and then was like, all right,
I gotta go.
Gotta get a gig. Bye.
Then
because he didn't want to leave Woodsboro.
Right. But then you find out now he's employed as a gopher for fucking Parker Posey's character.
Working under Parker Pose.
And, you know, now they're like, who's the next character to die? Because apparently how all the kills that have been happening are the ones that are actually have been killed in the movie. And that's when you find out that there are 3 separate scripts. Mm-hmm. So there's 3 different
possibilities of
who's going to die.
Yeah.
Right.
And you also find out that Dewey lives in a trailer in Parker Pose's backyard.
Yes.
Which is great.
Because he's just continuing his leech lifestyle. Now, you cut back to the Stab set, and you find out a little bit more information about Roman, who is the director of the Stab 3 movie. And you find out that he initially didn't want to do this movie. He wanted to do, like, his own love story, but the studio said, nope, you can't do it. You have to do this horror movie first. He said, okay, cool, fine. But now everyone on his set is dying. The police come in, and they want to question him because during Jenny McCarthy's death, apparently, he was the last person to speak with her. Because ultimately, I know like we glossed over Jenny McCarthy's death, but when she got killed, she was actually talking to Roman on the phone, and then Roman's voice switched to the Ghostface. So you're like, oh my God, it wasn't Roman after all.
Oh my God.
He is very adamant, like, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Never even talked to her. Like, what's up? But they still take him away, and that's when you find out that Stab 3 is completely closed and is no longer going to be a thing. So, oops. Sorry. They still want to keep everybody protected because the killer is still on the loose. So, now it's like very heightened. Like everyone needs to like stick together.
Together. So you know what they do? Not that.
Not that. You find out that Roman, his birthday is coming.
Yeah.
Because he has a very big emphasis of saying, I'm almost 30 soon. And I don't have like, a major motion picture under my belt. And like, I'm fucking awful right now, whatever. It's a big emphasis on that. So, Cuts to Parker Posey's house. They're doing like a post-wrap party or whatever because now that the movie is done. So it's just all the characters. Actually, it's only a couple of characters. It's not everybody.
Yeah, it's only a few.
It's just Tom, who plays Dewey, Parker Posey, actual Dewey, Patrick Warburton, who is the security guard.
The girl that's playing Sydney.
Angelina. That was her name.
That's the one.
Angelina.
Yeah, I have a note down here that she's useless.
Yes. Gail Weathers happens to be outside.
Just creeping outside.
So
they're talking. It's like, okay.
Patrick Warburton finds her, brings her to the house. You find out a little bit more information from Gail, where she tells Dewey, like, oh, by the way, every time the killer kills, they keep finding these pictures of Maureen Prescott. And then Dewey makes the connection of, wow, that picture of Maureen Prescott looks very familiar because it's actually in the same location that Parker Posey's character was in, that like took a picture or whatever
that they were
for like a film
just
still.
looking at like 3 minutes ago.
Yes. So you find out, oh my God, it's the same place. Holy shit, she actually was an actress, or she worked on the set of Sunrise Set. I think it was like
Studios
Sunrise Studios. Yeah. So that's when
they're like, oh my God, and now
all hell breaks
loose. Oh my God. Well, I wrote the door flies open like someone double jump kicked it because they're just standing there and this goes. It just flies open.
Well, all the characters leave.
And everyone disappears.
Well, actually, even before the door goes open, all the characters leave. And it's just Dewey and Gail being like, oh my God, now we got to go talk to the police. And that's when they can't find anybody. And then the door opens. Mm-hmm. And you're like, I don't even know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
Like, none of it makes any sense. Patrick Warburton's character gets stabbed brutally in a trailer.
He's like dicking around Dewey's trailer.
Stealing change.
Taking change. He's taking like pennies and quarters and shit.
Which that's when he gets a call from supposedly Dewey, and Dewey says like, "Hey, we're going to be going to the police or whatever, so I want you to stay inside and watch Jennifer while we go and talk to Detective Kincaid." He makes some weird remark, I guess, insinuating that he doesn't want to get stabbed like Dewey's sister, which I thought was really fucking weird,
super weird,
and fucked up. And I was like, okay. And then he steals his change, but then ultimately gets stabbed by the killer.
So it's fine.
My only point with that one is that how is a killer on the phone also using the voice modulator, also being
away
in the fucking tin can of a fucking trailer? He can't be like, I'm really quiet.
Hey, I'm super good.
To me, it doesn't make sense.
Hey, what are you saying? I can't hear you through the phone. And you're like, hey, I'm right behind you. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And they do it so much in this movie too. Like, I'm 3 feet away from you and you can't hear me talking. Arms flailing because you can't see my arms flailing right now. Kermit. So they see Patrick Warburton stumble up, stabbed, dead. Power gets cut. Oh no. Run out to the back pool area. But then a phone starts ringing. And they're all like, oh my God, my phone. That's not my phone. And then Parker is like, oh my God, it's the fucking fax machine that's still on even though the power's off.
That's what I didn't understand.
That makes no sense. So then this is probably one of the dumbest scenes in the movie. So the killer is sending a little bits of script at the same time. And each one is, oh my God, they're all huddled around in the darkness looking at the fax machine. And it's literally saying what's happening right now. So they keep running back and forth like idiots, grabbing a piece of script, reading it out loud, and then running back outside. They get another one, and the guy that's fucking Dewey, Tom, runs inside and is like, oh, I can't read the last line, even though he's a foot away from the door. Like, why wouldn't you go outside when there's a full fucking moon outside and so much light to be able to read it? So it says like, oh, the next person to die is... And then it's underneath it's like ... And he's like, I can't read it. So he runs into the next room. That's even darker. That is even darker than the room he was just in where the fax machine was still working. And there's a lighter just sitting there. And he lights the lighter and it's like, oh, the person that smells the gas. And then it just fucking, the whole super nice mansion action movie explodes. Yeah. Like, huge explosion. Huge. How much gas was in the house? Well, okay, so here's my 2 cents. First of all, the fucking script thing, that is just too much effort. For the killer, first of all, how is the killer finding a fax machine while he's running around stabbing people? Does that mean is he going next door being like, hey, by the way, can I use your fax machine and a cup of sugar? Or does he like fucking... Did he go to like a Kinko's and pay the guy like, hey, at this time, send it. Send these 2 pages in order, rapid fire, okay? Here's an extra 20. Thank you. I wish. That's the only thing that makes fucking sense because there's no way you have a portable fax machine. Maybe he had one in his car. Oh my God. That's just the funniest scene that I wish they showed. Yeah. Was the killer in the full outfit, just feeding faxes
Be
through
like,
a little
oh,
thing.
God damn it.
Like, God's jammed.
Pacey error load.
God damn it. What the hell does that mean?
That's one. Two, now throughout the course of the movie or the time that they're in this house, they're all smoking cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me that they're all smoking cigarettes. They're all using their lighters.
Mm-hmm.
It's all that shit. But this one time fucking lights the whole house and like Rambo style.
Yeah.
Fucking shards of like just fiery death
huge
everywhere.
Explosion. It got fucking airstriked.
I think they had enough money in the budget to make like one big explosion just to make it like, oh, this is going to be like a Hollywood movie. This is the time to do it. And I think that's what they probably went with. They probably were like, let's go extra crazy for this one because people will never see it coming. Ooh.
It was so obnoxious.
It was dumb.
It was not fitting in this movie.
Anyway, everyone kind of gets scattered with the exception of Tom because he just, decided to get melted inside the house.
He definitely got scattered because he fucking exploded.
Pieces of him are flying still.
Everywhere through Hollywood. They all roll down a cliff.
Yeah.
So he's higher on the cliff and he's like, Gale! And then you hear both of them yell.
For Dewey.
Yeah.
But he ultimately goes for Gale Weathers, his wife.
Gale.
She is somehow on street level.
At the street, and he's still like halfway up the fucking mountain.
And then Ghostface pops out behind a van and is about to attack Gale, and he winds up like lighting his ass up.
He shoots him and hits him. He fucking hits him.
Like 6 times. 6 times! Dr. Loomis style. Fucking rolls underneath the van and just disappears. It's a very weird alleyway and road.
How would you not see anyone
Where
run away?
Where the fuck are you gonna go? Like,
there's nowhere to run.
And all behind him was all privacy fences that were like at least 8 feet tall.
That you couldn't step over with a one-step step stool.
Exactly. So where the fuck did he go?
I don't know.
And he's wearing all black and it was pretty well lit down there.
Yeah, you fucking see him. But also...
it's movie logic, I know.
More movie logic coming at you. Dewey's final shot... he just fucking shoots himself down the hill.
Oh,
He's like he just fucking flips down the hill. It's like, what are you doing? You were a cop for 8 minutes.
I don't know. I don't even understand. Fucking Parker Posey's character comes up and is like, oh, fuck you, Dewey. This is what I'm paying you for, and you're gonna fuck around with this bitch, and you're protecting me. So then
she hits him,
and then Gale Weathers hits her. Parker. And then you find Angelina, who was like 20 miles away. Yeah. She stumbles out.
She flew up like a feather. It was just like, whoosh.
Well, she was literally 110 pounds soaking wet. Yeah. And she's just like, well, are we safe? And they're all looking at her like, where'd you come from? Like, first of all, weren't you guys all together? Like, why are you side-eyeing her? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
The killer didn't run back up the hill and then walk back down as Angelina.
Yeah, it's so dumb. Anyway, so the next scene now breaks into Dewey and Gale at the police station with Detective Kincaid, and they're desperately calling Sid to...
Well, because they find the other picture, and on the back of it, it says, I killed her.
Yes.
So it's like, everyone's like, oh my God!
Another Maureen Prescott number.
So now Kincaid's like, Sydney, we need Sydney to get answers.
Yes.
Like, we need to know what happened to Maureen, what happened, why, who, and when.
Sydney comes in. This is her first time really being in the movie, other than seeing her like the few times at her house.
Very beginning, yeah. Those stupid fucking dreams.
And you notice that she's wearing Jerry O'Connell's necklace from number 2, which
Greek letters.
You could tell that she's been a little bit more depressed than usual.
Mm-hmm.
She had that.
You see that necklace prominent the rest of the movie.
Yes.
And you're like...
because she still has to live with the idea that she basically did not believe her boyfriend.
And then he gets murdered, and then he said, I never would have hurt you.
Oh. Sucks to be you.
Oh, boy.
So...
the precinct, before Sydney shows up, they're like, hey, you need to get her down no matter what. I don't care. I'll beat you up, you dummy. That's what happens. Mm-hmm. And then the terrible cop says, last night, you were almost charcoal. Exact quote. And then Dewey's like, I guess I'll call her. And then he goes downstairs to call her, and then he turns around and she just fucking walks there.
She was just like, hey, I got your 7 messages. I'm here now.
Like, how did she know exactly where they are? Exactly.
I don't know. Listen, you're hung up on that. I'm hung up on everything else.
I'm hung up on this movie.
That's what I'm trying to say. This is whatever. This is where it kind of gets a little dicey. All right?
Kinda.
Yeah, this is where it gets really
dicey. The intro of this movie is when this gets dicey.
The intro of this movie actually could have been a lot more interesting had they kept Cotton alive, all right?
The whole movie's just Cotton.
I just want to know more about Cotton's backstory. She's like, hey, everybody, I'm Sydney. Look at me. I have 4 confirmed kills. I'm living my best life in the mountains in isolation with my sweet pup Cherokee. And my name's Laura, by the way, but don't tell anybody that. She says to Kincaid, I really, really would love to see where all this is happening. Like, take me to the movies. And so they wind up taking her to the Sunrise Studios, where they run into Martha, who is played by Heather Mezarezzo, or whatever. I can't ever say her name properly. The girl from Welcome to the Dollhouse. And she is Randy Meeks's, which I didn't realize that was his last name. I didn't even know he had a fucking last name.
They say it once in one of the earlier movies. They say Meeks. I don't remember where.
Okay, so Randy Meeks's sister, Martha. Which I love.
Martha!
When Sydney looks at Gail, because Gail is like, if that is Dewey's ex-lover, I'm going to be very upset.
Oh my God.
And she's like, no, that's Randy's sister. Can't you tell? Like, they look alike. And I'm like, no, they
Not
don't.
even a little.
They look nothing alike, Beach, but okay, fine. So that's when you find out Martha's sole purpose, she's 17 years old, somehow gets into the movie studio after being on a severe lockdown to be like, hey, I have this VHS tape I found in Randy's jerk-off drawer, and I figured you might need to see it. And so they go into this trailer that so happens to have a VHS player, because I guess they, run rampant over there.
High tech.
And they watch Randy's last video where he talks about the final fucking trilogy rules. And Randy is supposed to look like he is still in college, even though he looks a little bit older.
He looks
a little bit weathered.
Not in college.
No. So do we have...
I have the rules. The rules for a horror film trilogy.
Dun dun dun.
Okay, that's enough of that. The killer must be superhuman. Mere stabbing or shooting will not be enough to kill the killer. 2. Anyone can die, including the main character.
Including you, Sid. Fucking so stupid.
I know, I hate it so much. The past will come back to haunt someone.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's also known as the reason of, hey, let's dig up old bullshit and ruin the timeline. Great job, guys. And then the 4th bonus rule was said by Kincaid a little bit later on. He said all bets are off, which means literally nothing.
Yeah. Basically means anything can happen. The fucking killer could be an alien from outer space, and it would make the most possible fucking sense.
Honestly, I would see that movie. The killer was like a green man alien face.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh my God, there's Argon Flipsters.
So stupid. So after this, Martha leaves.
She just walks away.
She's 17 years old by herself in California.
But also,
LA, Hollywood.
She was in that trailer. How the fuck did she know they were going to walk by?
Exactly.
She just walks out and walks into Sydney.
Sydney?
She just walks into them and
fuck you.
She's like, Martha?
I can't. Dude, I can't.
She was as surprised as Batman when they said Martha. Martha! Sorry.
It doesn't make any fucking sense, and it makes me... I'm getting visibly upset right now.
It's so stupid.
I'm so mad right now.
It's not like someone sent you... Like, maybe if Dewey got it.
Yeah.
Like a telegram for...
Martha.
No.
Telegram for Miss Sydney Prescott.
Telegram for Dewey Doofus. And he's like, oh, Sid, I got a VHS tape from dead Randy.
Hi, stop.
Hello, stop.
Ducks wear pants. Stop. I don't know why ducks wear pants, but it just makes me laugh.
I don't know why either.
Every time.
But that would make more sense than them just magically running into her on set.
Oh,
even though everything is shut down because of actual people getting murdered.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's really fucking stupid.
And then she just walks off into the sunset, a child. Will she take the bus home? Walk?
That's what I'm saying.
She's gonna hoof it?
That's what I don't understand. Like, I just don't get it. Fine. Whatever.
Shoelace Express over here? What the fuck?
So she fucking disbands, and then Gail is like, I'm gonna find out where these Maureen Prescott photos are. And she heads down to an area where you need clearance, and then Parker Posey's character comes up and was like, hey, listen, I'm only gonna hang out with you because technically Gail Weathers is supposed to die in the script next. So if I'm with you and the killer comes, the killer will kill you and let me go. And Gail Weathers is like, whatever, I don't give a fuck, fine. So that's when they partnered up to be the shitty show of the Gales, I guess. Two Gales.
The Gale Force?
The Gale Force.
Oh my God. If they become like SWAT, it'd be the Gale Force.
Shitty NBC comedy that only comes on at Friday.
Oh my God. No, like
9:30.
It starts like... It starts Monday night, 8 o'clock, prime time, like fucking showtime. It's
actually, no, it ends up on Saturday nights.
And then it gets pushed to Friday because it's dead in the water. And then they're like, oh, we already shot it. Let's just let it run out, and then we'll finish it on one marathon.
Yep.
We'll air it once, Saturday night, and then we'll never air it again.
So basically, it's a little...
It's Harper's Island.
It's Harper's Island. Which... If you don't know what that is, oh, you're in for a fucking treat,
you're in for a
babe.
fucking treat.
Treats.
The show was so bad. Holy shit.
I can't wait to talk about it. But you find out like they go downstairs into like this archives because apparently next to the Stab 3 studio
right across
or soundstage is the archive stage or the archive hole or whatever. And you meet Carrie Fisher down there. Who is not Carrie Fisher. I forgot her name.
I don't remember
it was like something brunette or something very weird. And
Bernadette or something like that.
Yeah, Gail Weathers gives her $50 to be like, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about these Maureen Prescott photos? And she's just like, I work for the president of the studio, Hunty.
And wow, okay. And then Parker Pose is like, $50, really, idiot?
What are you, a Woodsboro High School reporter?
She just fucking rips a ring off and throws it down. It's like,
$2,000!
This is worth $2,000, motherfucker, even though my house just exploded.
I know, you would think that she would need that for fast cash, but whatever. Insurance must be really great in California, is all I'm going to say. Or is it like an act of God, maybe they'll call it? Or do you not get stuff if it's an act of God? I
don't think you
would,
know
how insurance works, but all right, whatever. Anyway, so that's when Carrie Fisher was like, all right, I'll do it off this $2,000 ring. Now, this is what I don't understand. So Carrie Fisher is just like, I'm in literally a room full of records and all kinds of shit. But she remembers she has one little filing cabinet, a sole filing cabinet that is away from everything else that she's like, these are all the actors that are like no-name people. I'm sorry, but Hollywood's pretty big, right? We can agree to that.
We can definitely agree with that.
Now, I feel like the people that are actually famous, like super fucking famous, are, I would say, maybe 1 to 5%. Let's just say. The 95% of other people are like no-name actors. Like there would be so many people that you would have to like go through so many things.
So many.
You know, because one extra or one person that may have said like 3 lines in one movie would be in this filing cabinet, right? That's the only thing that makes sense to me. But she's like, no, you know what? I know exactly who you're talking about because I know everybody that's in this filing cabinet and you're looking for Rena Reynolds. Like she fucking knew our name. Like, bam, that's what it is.
And they're just like, stage name.
Now, none of the photos, I believe, were leaked to like newscasters or anything like that. I don't think so.
I don't think so. They had to be acquired from that.
Yes. So it's like...
Obviously, someone has access.
Yeah, it's like weird, right? So that's when you find out her name is Rena Reynolds, and that is that's why they couldn't find her as Maureen Prescott, or I forgot there was another name, not Rena Reynolds.
Before Prescott, I don't remember.
Yeah, I forgot what her name was, her maiden name, but it wasn't Reynolds. So bam, you find out that she was also in 3 shitty horror movies that happened to be produced by John Milton, who is the person that is actually producing the movie Stab 3, actually all the Stabs.
All the Stabs.
The 2 gals are like, oh man,
my God,
we
we're going.
cracked the fucking case. We're going to go hunt down this John Milton character and say, what the fuck is up? So it cuts from them, and then now you see Sydney is like, after she's met with Martha, she's in the bathroom, and then she meets Angelina, who is the girl that was going to play Sidney Prescott. Yeah. They have a very brief interaction where you kind of think that Angelina is a little bit weird because she was hiding, because she was stealing stuff from the set because they shut down the movie. So this was her only movie role ever. So she was just like, all right, might as well just steal everything. I'm taking
a souvenir. And of course it was the Ghostface mask. So you're like, ooh, anyone's the killer. But it's like, not really.
Whatever. So that happened.
No one got attacked by a stick figure.
No.
She finds the Woodsboro set because Angelina drops a brush and just leaves.
Yes.
And then she's like, oh, you feel your brush, Demi?
And then she wants to go follow her.
Set, and it's like, oh my God, it's like her house, but not.
Yeah, it's Stu Macher's house. It's the whole set of Woodsboro for the 2 houses, and they literally look exactly the same, which is creepy. Which is like,
they go by where Tatum got killed, and you see the fridges open.
The news van,
the entire thing is the fucking same. And she's just like, oh, walking around.
I mean, if you want to like break it down of like being realistic, like that is really creepy to be like, hey, this is what I lived.
So realistic.
And then like, holy shit. Now she ventures off into the house. She goes into her bedroom where it kind of looks like her bedroom, but not quite the same. Instead of the Indigo Girls poster, there's a Creed poster because Creed is heavily fucking just jammed down your throat throughout the course of this movie. The door closes behind her in her bedroom door, but she's kind of like fantasizing about when Billy would come into her window and ultimately try to basically have sex with her, and she would like go, no, you want a PG-13 relationship? Like, shut the fuck up. So then that happens. The door closes. She's like, oh no, what's going on? And then Ghostface
Pulls her through.
outside and then attacks her from the window. And then ultimately they crash through the craft services table.
The Cheetos are like everywhere.
I actually had to pause it. So this is actually really funny. So at first when we were watching it, like it didn't dawn on me, but the second time watching it, I see Cheetos are all over the floor and it looks, I swear to God, it looked like syringes. And I'm like, why the fuck would there be syringes at this goddamn
Hollywood
craft
party.
table?
Hollywood.
So Hollywood craft table party. So now I'm like, oh my God. So then I had to rewind it and rewatch it and it was actually Sweet Tarts.
Smarties.
Oh, it was actually Smarties. And it was so like, I felt like such a fucking idiot.
Well,
so I was like, why would there be syringes? That doesn't make sense.
What's more confusing is there was like a huge bowl of just like cheese puffs.
Yeah.
And then right next to it is a bowl of fucking Smarties. Who was like jamming on Smarties?
I know.
The only time I eat Smarties is when I got them trick-or-treating.
I know.
I never actively seek Smarties.
Well, I guess somebody in one of the actors' writers maybe said something like, hey,
I fucked me up Smarties.
Make sure there's always Smarties on set.
After I finish my line, he just opens one and just a whole sleeve of them right in his mouth at once.
Wouldn't you do that? That's why I could never be in Hollywood.
That's the only way to eat them.
In my writer, it'd be like,
I was gonna say what
yellow M&Ms, peanut M&Ms, yellow peanut M&Ms.
I was just gonna say what would be on your writer? Yellow peanut M&Ms.
It would be yellow peanut M&Ms, energy, vitamin water. It would be also like bottles of water. Mm-hmm. Some days it might be Poland Spring. Some days it might be Liquid Death or boxed water or whatever. I feel like I would also want string cheese sticks. I feel like I would also want that. Yes. If I'm thinking like food and stuff.
This is a long list.
First of all, I could get longer. Okay, so don't try me. Smart Pop popcorn.
Are you just naming the snacks we have now?
Maybe.
Essentially.
Do you want to play the rules of like top 3 things?
What's up 3?
Then it would be yellow peanut M&Ms, just the yellow ones. I don't want any other color. Just give me a yellow. Mm-hmm. Yellow vitamin water, and then I guess bottles of water.
Bottles of water?
Well, yeah. Okay. I would have 2 drinks and chocolate.
I would do any available alkaline water.
Mm.
A local soda.
A local soda?
Local soda.
Explain your local soda.
Some places have their own soda. Mm-hmm. If not, just get a fucking soda. Like, if there's a place that, like, makes their own fucking soda, fuck yes. That. I want a fucking jug of that shit in
every day?
Yeah, trailer.
Okay.
I just want to be like, hey, let me fuck up some soda. Terrible idea. I'm going to pee my pants on set. And then last, I think, sour cream and onion ruffles.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like some sour cream boys, just some salty boys to wash down the jug of sugar.
You know what? I'll take it. Yeah. All right. Makes sense. All right. So
let us know what's in your rider.
Yeah, let us know what's in your rider.
Tweet us. Very curious. What would everyone have?
But yeah, I like my peanut M&M. Ghostface versus Sydney
like chase scene action. But before we jump into that, which we were kind of going to brush over, right after they fall into the first craft services table, there's one right after that. Sydney gets up, starts running, stops, and just fucking whacks the bowl of Lay's or whatever it is. It just chips. She just fucking like punches that bowl in the face. She's like, "Fuck you, Lay's." And then just starts running again. It's like it doesn't even go near him or hit him or stop him, whatever.
I'm surprised he's like, really? That wasn't necessary.
That would have been amazing. He's like, oh, I wanted those.
You bitch.
But then there's like a little action scene running, and then it like cuts. So she runs into Maureen's room. Mama's room, where apparently the crime scene happened.
So that's what I don't understand.
No.
Because according to the first one, her body was like strung up in the middle of town square, unless that was supposed to be like a figure of speech or something.
No, or they killed her and put her body up. But that doesn't, because they never really say that she was killed in her room, or unless they do and we missed it.
You know, that is a possibility because now I'm thinking about it more. I think back towards the first movie, Gail Weathers says something like, you said you saw Cotton Weary's coat in your house.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he's like, you saw Cotton Weary's coat. And then she's like, you saw it. And she's like, yeah, I saw Cotton Weary's coat. And Gail was like, no, you saw a coat, not Cotton's coat. Maybe she got murdered in her house, but then they also made it sound like she was like murdered and then her body was strung up in fucking the middle of the square and everyone hit her like a fucking piñata. So I don't really know how she died, but in this movie, it's showing that she was killed in her home.
Yeah.
Blood was everywhere.
Unless it was just like a movie representation of everything.
Yeah, because I mean, the
But then
father,
why
like,
would
where
you
the fuck
do-
was the father? I don't
Yeah.
know. There's just a lot of
There's-
things that just didn't make sense.
That's another one of the digging into the past things where it's like you're fucking the timeline up.
Right.
Why stop?
But she's over emotional, obviously, because, you know, it's like her mother's bedroom or her parents' bedroom, her mother's dead, whatever. And then Ghostface was actually lying underneath like this like body bag thing, and then gets up and he has like the body thing over him, like, "Come here, Sydney, I love you," and like the mother's voice. So you don't really know if it's like in her head because she's also been like hallucinating her mom.
Yeah, because they do it a few times where it's like it's obviously not him because how would he be there? How would he be doing this? But then later on he does it and it's like, what the
I know,
this is
it just doesn't make sense.
So unnecessary.
But ultimately she just jumps out of a fucking window.
And then lands on
some astroturf.
Then all the cops show up finally.
Because they realize she's been in taking a shit for way too long in that bathroom.
She's like, God, it's taking a long shit.
So they come out and the killer, of course, is gone. And then she gets whisked away to the police station, and that's when Dewey and the two Gales decide to go confront John Milton.
Mm-hmm.
It cuts to John Milton's office. He's talking to Roman. Roman's like, "Listen, I have no fucking career now because like my movie is done. Everyone's dying in the set. Nobody wants to work with me, blah, 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 blah." John Milton's like, "That's great though." It's like offers some mystique about you. And then you hear like a knock at the door, and that's when it's the two shitty Gales and fucking Dewey. They come in.
They just walk right in.
They walk right in, and
there's no secretary like stopping them. It's a big head of a fucking movie place.
Why would you do that?
Nope.
And then that's when Parker Posey says like, "Hey," or it's either Gail Weathers or Parker Posey is like, "How do you know Rena Reynolds?" So that's when Roman excuses himself and is like, "Well, I obviously am not wanted here. By the way, it's my birthday." And they're all like, "Hey, happy birthday." And then he goes to John's house where I guess presumably there's going to be a party.
Yeah.
Okay. So you find out a little bit more information that John Milton actually knew who Rena Reynolds was, totally aware of her murder, all that good stuff, profited off of her murder as well.
Heavily.
And was totally okay with that. And then he never wanted to make it known that he knew her because he didn't want to be a suspect. So everyone's like, "Oh, you're a fucking piece of shit, blah, 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 blah.
We're going to expose you.
You're an asshole. We hate you, whatever." And he's just like, "Listen, it's Hollywood, okay? When Rena came here, it was the 70s. It was a different time. A lot of girls just, got fucked by all these producers because they wanted to be in all these movies, and she knew what she signed up for."
The only way to get movies was to play the game, and playing the game was apparently going in these mansions with sex movie theaters.
And then just getting fucked by fat, disgusting men. Smoking cigars and doing God knows what. But Rena was aware of this. She knew the game, and he doesn't feel bad about it. And they were like, "Wow, you're a fucking disgusting pig." And he was like, "Listen, it's Hollywood. That was the 70s. It's not the case now," which I found really funny.
Is hilarious.
Because the Weinstein Company actually produced this movie.
Yeah, the Weinsteins were heavily involved with the making of all the Scream movies.
Well, actually, I think all Miramax pictures, which was all like Kevin Smith stuff too, which is really fucking crazy.
So that's great. I imagine that when they when they showed this script, they were just like, "That's going out. Hilarious." It's like, wow. Fuck that guy.
No. So it is very not, I don't want to say funny because it's not funny like that whole thing, but just really ironic that was in there.
It's crazy that this actually went through.
And that nobody was, because I'm sure everyone had to be like, "Well, we all know what
seriously
Harvey does on his downtime, but whatever." Like, fuck that. Now it cuts to the police station where you find out a little bit more about, Sydney is kind of like flirting with Detective
They were like
Kincaid.
instantly flirting with each other.
Because they're both like, they're just so dark and emo. I couldn't.
Surrounded by death.
What was it? What's your favorite scary movie? My life.
And then she's like,
"Mine too."
"Me too."
Like, fuck you.
Oh my god. Pretty much Kincaid's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go do stuff. You just sit here in my office
Yeah,
forever."
You don't really know what he does. So which kind of like makes it a little suspicious.
Yeah.
Because you're like, what the fuck are you? You're not doing anything, like, but you're leaving her here. I mean, she was safe technically because she's in a fucking police station with a bunch of cops.
Just eating pizza.
Yeah, literally eating. I wanted to know more about the pizzas. That's, you can tell where my priorities lied in this movie, that I was more worried about the food in here than anything else.
I mean, this movie was a slog.
It only gets worse. So while she's chilling in the police station by herself, flicking her bean, Fucking, it cuts to Dewey driving, and he gets a phone call from Sydney where Sydney says, hey, I'm actually going to be going to John Milton's house because he said he wanted to talk to me a little bit more about my mother. And I figured it's a really good idea. Don't worry, I have Detective Kincaid with me, so I'm fine. Can't wait for you guys to show up. It's going to be a hell of a time. Dewey is just like, yeah, okay, that sounds really good. Let's go.
Not a good idea, but okay. So then they go to the mansion.
They go to the mansion. And now this is pretty much the final act of the movie.
The final set piece.
Which, as you can see, how it jumped around from different set to different set, and like how it was just really rough.
Shitty. It was not good.
So I'm going to gloss over some of this, but like we'll hold off like the last final scene.
Yeah.
So basically, it's Roman's birthday. They're in this beautiful mansion, which actually I believe, your little fun fact here is that the mansion happened to be the same filming location as Halloween 7 H2O.
H2O, yes.
Which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
And now thinking about it, looks a little bit familiar.
It actually does, yeah. Watching it the second time, it was like, oh yeah, that actually kind of fits.
Very pretty. Love that house. It's such a pretty fucking house too. It's Roman's birthday. There's literally 4 people there. Mm-hmm. It's Roman, or Ricky is the character who's supposed to be Randy. Angelina is there because, everybody else is dead from the shoot.
Yeah, everyone else is dead. There's not really many people that can go.
And then
then Gale and Dewey show up.
Gale, Dewey, and Parker Posey show up. Yeah. So now it's that, and Roman's
like drunk. And then he's like, oh, I'm going to go
there's
explore the house.
There's a secret screening room that we should all check out.
That we should all find. So it's like, oh, let's all split up. And they're
Sexy
like, no, don't
up.
split up. But then they still pair off and split up, which is, very Scooby-Doo of them.
So pretty much Gale and Dewey wait in the lobby, I guess, the parlor room or whatever room on the first floor, waiting for Sydney to show up, and then everybody else goes their separate ways. And
Roman and Parker go
together,
yeah.
And Angelina and Ricky, I forgot what his real fucking name is. I feel bad, but Tyson. Tyson. They go into their own separate thing, and you kind of find out like they all kind of get split up in a weird way, and blah blah blah. Roman and Parker Posey goes to the basement.
They go downstairs. Roman goes to the casket, looks in it, and then it cuts to Gale and Dewey.
Yes, and then that's when Gale and Dewey decide to split up.
Hey, where's Sydney? No, first they're like, hey, where's Sydney?
Yeah.
Let's call her number back. Like, use the callback and send.
Yeah.
And then so Dewey calls the number that was called, and then oh my god, the phone starts ringing from the closet.
What?
I know. So they check the closet, and it's just sitting right there, prominent.
It's like a knife.
With the knife,
the costume,
the voice modulator, and then the costume. It's like, oh wow, you didn't try at all.
No, they didn't hide it at all.
So they're like, oh fuck balls, they're in the house.
We gotta get everybody out of this house.
There's a kill in their house. Let's split up. So they immediately split up.
So that's when Gale goes down into the basement, finds Roman dead. She's like, oh my god. And then Parker Posey is like behind her, is like, oh my god, he's really dead. Like, ah.
So
and
now
then
it's episode 2 of My Two Gales.
They're like, oh no.
Oh no.
So then the 2 Gales are running to go meet everybody else. And then ultimately they run into Angelina. Yeah. And then you find out.
And they're like, get out of here. We gotta go.
Angelina is like, you know what? Fuck you guys. I don't want to die here with some 2-bit fucking celebrities like you motherfuckers. Yeah, I didn't mean to fuck that pig, John Milton, just for this fucking role and to die here with you sorry ass motherfuckers. Yeah.
So she
fuck you.
Jets and immediately
gets killed.
Right when she stops saying that line, she gets fucking stabbed.
Which again shows that Hollywood is just filled with all disgusting shit.
Garbage.
But we all knew that.
Everyone knows that.
So that's when the 2 Gales are like, ah! They scream comically, run to Dewey, and Dewey's with Tyson.
Just Tyson, because Angelina disappeared.
Yes.
Then they all meet in the same room.
Yes.
And then the killer comes at them.
And then fucks all of them up. Like, completely. He fucks all of them up.
Like, he's, like, slices
Tyson's
Dewey.
A young dude, and he's, like, you know, he looks tough.
Yeah.
Nope.
He gets stabbed, like, instantly.
Oh, yeah.
He gets fucking gut stabbed.
True.
Then Gale is throwing lamps and shit at him, and then, I don't know, they all just get their fucking ass kicked.
Whooped.
Tyson gets stabbed and runs away, so the killer goes after Tyson. And then Tyson's like limping down this fucking corridor, and the killer fucking rips this rug out. But he rips this long ass rug so hard, he like does this super backflip and lands on his fucking neck.
He did a triple axel and then broke his neck almost. And then he picks him up like a rag doll.
Yeah.
He throws him out the fucking window.
He fucking CC's pizzas him out the window. And she's like, whoop, just like, whoop, out the window.
Sad.
Gone.
It's so sad.
And it's like, oh, he just like thud.
I was like, how did that happen?
Like,
how did that happen?
Really?
I don't get it.
Just fucking one pawed him up. Just boop.
Parker Posey gets separated.
Yeah.
And she winds up going into these tunnels.
Yeah, she finds some like back tunnel action.
And then that's when the killer meets her on the staircase, and now she's running away.
She's running away, and she gets stuck up these two-way mirrors.
Which is really creepy, because I guess in his bedroom he had a bunch of two-way mirrors, which just showed how much John Milton was a complete fucking pervert.
Just
like,
enhances the creepiness.
I know. I was just like, ew.
It's not even just one mirror. Every single mirror is completely...
Oh my, it must have been a guest room.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me. It must have been a guest room, because it didn't look too nice to be...
Because it wasn't the master.
Right.
Because it wasn't big enough.
No.
That's creepy.
Yeah. So in this little sex dungeon house or whatever, she ultimately says to the killer before getting killed, like, you can't kill me. I'm the killer.
Yeah.
Which I guess in one of the scripts, Gail Weathers is supposed to be the murderer, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And then Dewey, I guess, realizing that the mirrors were shaking because it's supposed to be soundproof, even though you hear her.
When you cut back to Dewey and Gail, you could hear, like, brief, like,
screaming,
yelling, and then you just see the pounding. So he shoots glass. The
last panel.
Dead body falls out. Parker Pose, R.I.P.
Yeah, she's dead. She's done.
And then they're like, oh my god, everyone just got murdered. Let's split up.
I know, which makes no fucking sense, but okay, fine, whatever.
So when they're split up, Dewey's like, I'm gonna go find Tyson. Gail's like, okay, I'm gonna go this way, I guess. And then immediately
gets captured.
Gail gets grabbed and then falls down the stairs with the killer.
Yeah.
And then another scene where the killer is just sitting there immobilized. I think he randomly twitches and just flails for like 3 seconds.
Which makes me laugh really that he does that. But she winds up calling Dewey and being like, yo, I'm stuck in the basement. You need to come help me. And he's like, how do I know this is really a killer? And she's like, dumbass, just open the fucking door. He opens the door, and that's when the killer kind of like springs to life and is about to like kill Gail Weathers. And then he, I think, Dewey at the top of the stairs tries to get off one shot to only find out that he has no bullets. Mm-hmm. So Ghostface then takes his knife and then throws it at him. Perfect hit right in his fucking forehead.
The handle hits him in the fucking forehead, and he's like, no.
But like the knife was so slow, he could have fucking gotten out of the way fast enough.
Well, it's Dewey. He just stands.
I know, he's a dumbass.
He would have fell down the stairs if he didn't throw.
He's like one of those dumb dogs that you're just like you hit it in the face or with like a frisbee or something, and it just like sits.
It just goes like it's just sitting there with his like tongue hanging out side mouth, and you're just like
oh buddy, come here.
Like, God, you're precious.
You're too precious for this world. Come here. That's what Dewey is. Dewey falls down the stairs.
Just falls down the stairs.
Gail collapses over Dewey like, my husband, no, my man, or whatever.
She doesn't say anything.
And then he's just like, all right, that's it.
Cut to Sid.
She's back in the police station. She's bored at this point because Kincaid has not come back.
It's like 6 hours ago.
She finds a file, a very thick file, of everything about, like, about Sidney Prescott.
Everything about her.
Everything. Like, so there was, like, so many newspaper clippings
like
and actual fucking like photos
baby
of her.
Pictures, too.
Which was like, weird.
Pictures when she was younger. It's like, where did he get this?
I don't know.
I think that was another, like, oh, maybe he's a killer. He's been following her whole life, all that kind of deal.
But it's very suspicious.
Yeah. Sketch Town. But then, of course, she gets a phone call.
Which it sounds like her voice, and she's thinking like, oh, it's just obviously a technical difficulty. But it's not. It's the killer.
It's the killer, because the killer's like, I hear you loud and clear.
So the killer, which I don't get this, the killer is just like, hey, if I don't want to kill your friends, just come to me so we can finish this off. I'll let your friends go. Just come to me. And she's like, ugh, fine. And then she's like, oh, where do I got to go? And he's like, well, I'll call you when you're on your way. Which doesn't even make any sense.
Which is our favorite line. So it's like, just start driving somewhere and I'll get back to you in a sec.
Yeah, right? So what if she was going the opposite direction for like fucking 20 minutes?
It's like, turn around.
Anyway, she gets, I guess, this map quest to fucking directions. But before she actually leaves, she does find a gun in Kincaid's desk and ultimately
a little Derringer
takes it with her. Plus, she also eyes a bulletproof jacket, and you don't know if she's going to put it on, but she's just like, maybe I should wear it.
She side-eyes it really quick.
I'm Sidney Prescott.
Yeah. Then she steals his car.
Which for a detective, he drives a shit mobile. It was like the shittiest car ever. I was like, oh, I'm glad. I'm actually surprised that he even made it up the mountain.
Well, the star of the movie isn't his car.
I mean, true, but
it
I
also
was
wasn't Sydney in this movie.
No, it wasn't, because she was only there for 20 days.
Secret.
She's got paid and all that Cheetos and Smarties that she was eating.
She punched off the fucking table.
Oh, God. So she then gets to the house. What this has actually made me laugh is that she sees Tyson dead, and then next to Tyson is a metal detector. And then she gets a phone call. She screams like, huh! And the killer's like, hey, take that metal detector and wand yourself. Which sounds like really sexy. Like, wand yourself, bitch.
Wand yourself right now. Slowly.
So she does. It goes over her chest. She has obviously her necklace that goes off. And then, of course, the gun that goes off. So he's like, take the gun, throw it in the pool. She's like, ugh, fine. She takes a gun and throws it in the pool.
She's like, how do I know they're okay?
He's like,
Killer
look
says,
inside.
they're right inside. And they're just in a chair directly in the front of the door, which you probably would have seen walking up.
Yeah.
But I guess details.
Indiana Jones style, though, like Last Crusade, both of them are like tied to chairs, not facing each other, just looking defeated.
Just looking down.
I was like, okay.
She goes in, starts trying to untie them, and Dewey's like, behind you!
Like, there's Ghostface.
And then...
this time she has another gun!
Well, he pushes her down, and then she's like, haha!
I got this, bitch.
Fucking caps him 5 times.
Yep.
I counted. Just
bam, 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 bam.
5
really
shots.
Fast.
Hits him every time.
Yeah, she's good.
Falls down.
Yeah. She has 4 confirmed kills.
I know.
She's amazing.
I know. She's a fucking all-star.
She works for Black Ops, actually.
I don't know. She's gonna do the Men in Black program in Scream 5.
I fucking wish. I fucking wish.
Sir.
Oh god.
With honors.
That's right. With honors.
She's but she fucking body is on the ground. Shot him 5 times. Goes right back to Dewey.
That's what
fucking
I don't
idiot.
understand.
She's killed so many people that have come up again.
Yeah, like why wouldn't you just fucking go over,
to him,
pop him in the face, or pop him in his leg or something?
No, just shoot him in the face.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying though, like just something to fucking
double tap. Because fucking
whatever.
Mickey jumped up again for the final scare.
Debbie salted. Fucking Billy Loomis did.
You had to shoot everyone in the head after being attacked.
Yeah, everybody did.
Just do it again, you idiot.
Of course that didn't happen.
Of course it didn't happen.
So when she looked back, he was gone. The killer was gone.
And then guess who shows up? Kincaid is like, hey, what's going on? Remember, I'm in this movie.
I know, which was actually kind of weird.
They actually forgot to include him.
Oh, really?
They like mod the script and like re-add his character back in because he just disappeared and apparently he wasn't in the final scene like he was here.
Oh, that's funny.
They had re-edited him. They're like, hey, he didn't show up until after he left her in the station. He wouldn't come back.
See, that's funny because like he doesn't tell her what he's doing or whatever. He just leaves. And then it almost insinuates that he is the killer.
That he is, yeah.
Because he comes in and he looks very like Billy Loomis-esque.
Yeah.
He kind of gives her the face of like...
He's giving her like, hey, I can kill people. Boyfriend killer.
Boyfriend killer. And then he's just like, hey, Miss Prescott, I would never hurt you.
He puts his gun away. He's like, guys.
I got this.
Everything's all right. Just put your fucking gun down.
And then she's like, fucking great. And then that's when Ghostface pops up again.
And he like jumps in the way of the knife and pushes her skull into the arm of the chair.
Which is hilarious.
Which is like, ouch.
That fucking hurts.
And then he gets beat up by Ghostface.
I know.
Thrown into the fireplace.
I know. Breaks his fucking nose.
Oh my god, does he?
She finally gets up. She has her gun. She shoots off one shot, doesn't hit him. And realizing that she has no bullets, she just says, come and get me, motherfucker.
And then immediately goes to a locked door.
Yeah, just like,
And then my favorite is Ghostface goes to stab, punches right through the window, and kind of like half falls through it. Oh, quality.
She then runs into a study, finding out that in the study there was one bookshelf that was like an imaginary bookshelf.
She saw a light underneath, like immediately. She runs in.
Immediately, yes.
She runs in and she's like, oh no, secret passages that she didn't know about. Yeah. She doesn't know about secret passages. And she's like, oh, there's a secret passage here. Cool.
Here I am. She winds up going downstairs and coming into a screening room where in the screening room they're playing this really weird like voyeur film of Maureen Prescott, of her showing her having affairs, showing her combing her hair at night.
Yeah.
Very like Halloween style almost.
Halloween, yeah.
And it was like really strange, but like, okay, cool, like this is what's going on. And then out of the corner in like a fucking flash, you have the body bag that was from the movie set, and you hear like the mother's voice. It's like, Sydney, come to mother. Like very weird. She says like, who are you? Like, what are you doing? Like, what is all of this? And he just got like, he just takes off the white off thing. It's Ghostface. Ghostface then removes his mask, and it happens to be Roman!
Oh my god, the director.
And she just looks confused. That's my favorite part.
That's the best part. It's just like,
she's like, who the fuck are you? And you find out a little bit more about Roman. 4 years ago, started looking for an actress named Rena Reynolds because Rena Reynolds birthed him, gave him up for adoption, and he wanted to find out why, what happened. He wants his mama.
When he finally found his mama, she turned her back on him.
She said, Rena Reynolds is dead. You get out of this town of Woodsboro. You go now. You get. You get out of here.
I don't know why the accent's happening, but it's fine.
You get.
You get home.
You get home, little doggy, you go. And so he became a little obsessed. He decided to make his own home movie of Mother who rejected him. And that's when he found out that, you know, basically she was getting around town. She was being a little slutty, being a little loose, fucking everybody. Even though it was only 2 confirmed romances, but whatever.
It's fine.
But when he found out when she was having sex with Billy Loomis's father, he then took that footage, gave it to Billy Loomis, and then ultimately he directed.
Which is so fucking, oh my God.
So stupid. Directed Billy to ultimately rape and murder Maureen Prescott with Stu.
And then try to kill
Sydney.
And kill all of the friend group.
Kill the friend group, as well as having a fall guy like Stu. Stu was ultimately going to go down anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Billy was just going to get off scot-free. Like, that was the whole plan of it. Of course, that did not happen. That's why we're in Scream 3.
Because of monologuing.
Yes, because all these motherfuckers monologue, and that's the problem.
Love monologuing.
So,
speaking of monologuing, it's literally happening right now.
Yes, that's all it is. And then you find out that, you know, your brother and fucking basically...
You have everything I should have. I was abandoned. And she was like, go fuck yourself, you baby.
I know, which actually made me laugh. I'm going to show you the man that really ruined our mother to make her the way that she was. And he brings out John Milton, who was like bound and gagged. He was saying like, oh, basically this man had mom get fucked 3 ways from Sunday by all these men. And now look at her. She's fucking dead or whatever.
After that day, she was ruined or whatever.
After that day, she was ruined. He's the reason to blame. He takes a piece of tape off of Milton's mouth and he's just like, I'll give you whatever you want. If you want a 3-picture deal, you want script approval, final cut. He's like, I have my final cut.
And then cuts his throat.
Oh my God, it was so dramatic.
Oh
so that's when Sydney is kind of like, you're an asshole. Like, what is wrong with you?
Bro.
You're being a dick.
You're the one that's gonna go crazy. You come back, kill everyone that ruined your mom, you kill all your friends, and who's left? Me.
And I get to star as the final person, and everybody loves me. That's the whole thing, which is so stupid. It's so stupid.
And she was literally like, go fuck yourself, grow the fuck up.
I love that.
Get over it.
That was probably the most realistic thing ever.
And they both literally just say fuck you to each other and just start punching each other in the face.
That was the one thing I looked at Alex and I said, this is the most brother-sister fight I've ever seen. Like, this is a true brother-sister fight where they're
rolling over furniture, go fuck yourself, throwing some punches.
Fucking letting each other have it. He yokes her up.
Yeah, he fucks her up pretty good. And then
Dewey somehow gnaws through his little fuck. I don't even know. He just gnaws through his little
rat that he is.
He's a fucking leech. Gnaws through his little arm things, and he breaks free, gets Gail out, and they're trying desperately to get to the secret sexy filming room.
Yeah.
And
which is not soundproof because you hear everything they're doing. Like, no, try this. Go over here. Oh wait, try this one. And you just hear banging and chair moving. And you're just like, this is supposed to be a silent, like, private sex room.
So he then realizes, you know what we're going to do? We're going to cut the power. So apparently there were these antique tweezers right next to the light socket, which I don't understand. How did he not electrocute himself?
Well, that's one. Two, the tweezers might have well said, hey, use this in the socket. Yeah. Because it was so perfect. Come on.
He shoves it in the sockets, the lights go out or whatever. And then Roman is just like, what? And then
steel doors unlocked.
He's like, fuck. And then he just like leaves Sydney to be on the ground and then goes into the corner to hide.
Because Kincaid comes in.
Kincaid with his little gun.
With his baby gun. And he's like, hey I'm going to put my gun first.
Yes.
But not pointing forward, pointing up. And then
I'm going to... weird.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, he's a fucking homicide detective.
You would think he knows how to hold a gun.
He would do something.
Or like kick the fucking door open.
He would know how to like breach and enter a fucking room in a situation like that. Where he'd kick the door or like push it open and be like ready for it. But he's not.
No, he's not.
Gun up. He might as well have had like an ice cream pop. And he's like, hey guys, is everyone okay? I have ice cream.
He has a banana, like a trick banana gun.
Just Pez. I got banana flavor. You want one? It's Darth Vader. And then he gets fucked up instantly.
Yeah.
And then Roman looks down, doesn't have his knife. Cindy's like, you lose something? And he's like, found something. Grabs fucking Kincaid's gun, shoots her.
I know.
It's so dramatic music.
And she's like, ah! He then stands over her, shoots her in the chest.
Shoots her chest. And
she's dead.
And then rolls over.
And then you hear Dewey and Gail just being like, ah!
Like,
don't hurt her!
If you hurt her, I'll kill you. Wait, move this thing. How about this one?
Oh, so ridiculous.
It's so stupid.
Ugh, I can't. But then he's just like, whatever. He rolls his eyes, looks down to be at Sydney's body. Now, Sydney's
gone.
oh my God, where did Sydney go?
Where'd she go?
I don't know.
I just shot her.
He is now like rummaging around in the dark, just like he's moving over furniture that's obviously way too small for her to be hiding under. You know what I mean? Like it was like a small end table, and he's like, ah! Where are you, bitch?
It's like,
bitch, where are you?
Bitch. It's like playing hide and seek with a kid, where it's like they're hiding in like under a thing where you clearly see them from across the room, and you have to be like, I don't see you.
It was so stupid. And then she winds up taking his cell phone, calls him.
Yeah, he's just about to call her, but she beats him to it, calls him a second before, and he's like, she knows how to call me?
He's like, hello?
Hello?
And then she reaches out, she, I guess, jumps up from behind him, stabs him with a little ice pick.
With an ice pick.
Right in the back of the fucking neck,
Yeah,
or the fucking back, or whatever.
A good spot.
So obviously,
he goes down.
Yeah, he goes down. She then goes next to him, and she sits on the floor with him, and he's just like, but I shot you. And she like lifts up her shirt and was like, we obviously think alike, because I also have a bulletproof vest on. We're obviously related. Not that it's common sense.
Fucking logic, because she's been through this so many times
fucking
already.
Stupid. And then they just hold hands.
No, she fucking does the final stab down.
She stabs him in the chest.
Stabbed
and then
3. He was stabbed 3 times.
No. And then they hold hands.
And then they hold hands while he bleeds out.
And it's like, no.
And it's like, this is fucking stupid.
This is weird. I just discovered you 20 minutes ago, and now I have to kill you.
You killed all these people, tried to kill me again, and then we're family.
It would have been an interesting Thanksgiving, that's all I'm going to say.
Why? Everyone's dead.
That's what I'm saying. It's an interesting
You by yourself
Thanksgiving.
eating all the stuffing? Yes.
Until they ultimately just try to kill each other, but they ate too much turkey and fall asleep.
It's like you're next, but...
It's right. It's like you're next, but not quite.
Thanksgiving.
So that's when Dewey and
Gale
finally break in.
Fucking finally make it over there.
Fucking
by
idiots.
Going around the other way. There's a hallway over here.
Oh my God. And they're like, wait a second, why is Roman on the floor?
Roman?
It's like, Roman's actually my brother. Long story.
Bro, okay.
And then she gets up, and that's when Roman jumps up. And Dewey is literally fucking shooting him.
Dewey shoots him, I think, 13 or 14 times.
In the fucking chest.
In the chest. And then they're like, shoot him in the head.
Yeah, Sydney screams. It's like, shoot him in the head.
And he's like, what?
Oh.
And then caps, and just there's like this, bam, best shot ever from Dewey.
Yeah, finally.
Caps him in the face.
And he's down, and that's it. And they're like, oh, man, this is crazy. Cuts to.
This is crazy.
Cuts to literally like maybe like 2 days later. And now they're at Sydney's ranch home. It's like basically Ree Drummond's house.
Here's what's happening on the ranch.
And you see it opens up to both Gale and Dale. Gale and Dale. Gale and Dewey.
Dale and Gooey.
I do like Dale and Gooey. So Dale and Gooey. And Gooey says to Dale, you know what? Dewey, no.
Sign your book.
Dewey says to Gale, no wait. Gooey says to Dale, Gooey says to Dale, hey, here's your Woodsboro book. I would love for you to sign it.
Mm-hmm.
She opens the book up, realizes it's a hollowed book because all that's in there is like a little wedding ring. And she's like, oh my God, what? And he's just like, listen, I know
Dale
people.
Is like, I love you.
Yeah. He's like, I know people say that like we're crazy and we're really not meant to be, but you know what? We've survived 3 different murders at this point. Let's try to make this work. And she's like, okay.
I love you, Gooey.
I love you too, Dale. So then they're engaged.
Congrats.
So now you have Sydney Prescott.
Sydney's
coming back from her walk.
Walk with the dog. There's a prince.
She leaves her gates
the
open.
Huge gates open. Just
no longer locked.
Freedom
goes
is me.
Walk into her house. Kincaid's there.
Yeah, he's like, hey, we're gonna watch a movie. And
I love when she's like, what kind?
What kind of? And he's like, you'll see. It's like,
which
what
is
the fuck?
I know. I was like, that's even scarier.
Hey, Dick, tell me what kind of movie we're watching. Fuck.
Why do that?
She looks at the security system, and it's like, not today.
No.
And then
she walks like 5 feet into her house.
5 steps. The door blows open, and she looks at it and goes, I'm going to leave this open.
And then goes and watches a movie. Like, first of all, the amount of bugs that might come in.
Bitch, you're in the woods.
Yeah.
Fucking
coyotes.
That's how you get raccoons.
Exactly.
Some coyotes.
Like, what is wrong with you?
Fucking
you need to
bears, bro.
You need to protect Cherokee at all costs, and you're being a monstrous bitch that does not know how to obviously own a pet.
Yeah.
Like, you're being an asshole.
Cherokie's a prince.
Just because you killed
like one.
Just because you found out you had a brother and he literally died 2 minutes later, now you like all bets are off. Like, I enjoy freedom. fuck you. But no, honestly, the whole scene is supposed to symbolize, if we're going to get all
shit.
fucking Andy Rooney here, it's supposed to symbolize the fact that now she is free and she doesn't have to keep up this wall, this barrier, because she's literally killed everybody in her bloodline. Anybody that's associated with this fucking murder, they're all dead thanks to her and Quick Draw McGraw, Gooey. They're all good.
Great job, Gooey. Goo drop.
Fucking goo drop.
Oh my god.
And that's pretty much how it
That's
ends.
Scream 3. So what do you think about this movie overall?
I think it's awful.
It's garbage.
It's garbage, and I think the more that I talk about it, the more that I see like the flaws, the
errors.
plot holes, the
It
things
just-
that don't make sense.
Like, my biggest thing is that it really, like, one, it's not good.
No, and it ruins,
Two,
I
it's-
think, the first
It
two
ruins
movies
the
now.
timeline. It really does.
It adds a bunch of stuff that, like, you're like, oh, I get it, but then when you really think about it, you're like, well,
Yeah,
that doesn't fucking
This
make
is kind of
sense.
stupid.
Why would you do that? Like, what? Okay. Number 4. I'm excited for number 4 because I've seen 4 and I liked it, but I don't remember
I've
much
only
of
seen
it.
it once, so I don't remember shit.
I just remember the key parts that make me giggle,
Yeah, well, of course.
Finale's
Hilarious.
great.
Okay.
which we'll get to next episode.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I don't like this movie.
I don't like this movie.
I don't recommend it. I think it's the weakest out of the whole
Easily.
series.
Like, even, like, the cold open's the weakest. It just... The kills
Everything.
were so fast and, like, meaningless.
Yeah.
I don't know. You didn't care about any of the characters like you kind of did in the first one.
Yes.
It... I don't know. It was
It
just
wasn't-
fucking shitty.
It wasn't as funny or like...
Oh, that's because Randy wasn't in it.
Well, no, but I mean, like, it wasn't... So, like, number 2 was bad, but funny bad.
Yeah.
At least, like, it made me
2
laugh.
had some, like, cheese
Yeah.
to it.
This was just, like, over-the-top Hollywood blockbuster bullshit of, like...
Hollywood blowjobs.
this is-
fucking bullshit.
This is how we're going to end it. This is how it makes sense. And to me, it just doesn't.
And this is the end of the series?
That's what I'm saying.
Because
Like,
they
it
weren't
doesn't...
going to do 4.
No.
This was a trilogy, that's it.
This was a very weak ending
Very.
in that regard. So personally, I just think it should have never been made. And if I never see this movie again, it would be too soon.
Oh my god. I think,
So-
well, because Williamson did not write this movie.
And it shows.
He wrote the script, and then they hired a different writer because he was busy with something else, and that writer disregarded all of it.
Yeah.
You could tell.
Yeah.
Because it was just fucking weak all over.
Yeah,
Weak.
I didn't care for
It
it.
was not good.
Do we have any fun facts?
We do have some fun facts.
Lay it on me.
Nev Campbell was shooting Drowning Mona and Party of 5.
Oh, Drowning Mona.
That's what it was.
Which is really funny because nobody talked about that movie ever.
Yeah, and the wig required 2 hours of application each morning
Really?
Yeah.
It was that
for the
quick?
20 days that she was fucking on set.
Jesus Christ. You hear that, Piglet? So weird. All right.
Jamie Kennedy never appeared on any of the movie posters.
As he
Oh,
shouldn't.
fucking idiot. I'm kidding. Scott Foley's feature film debut. And he didn't do that bad.
You know what? I will say, okay, 2 things for him. I feel bad that he was in this movie because he actually did a really good job. I think out of all the acting, he was probably the best.
Yeah, he played like a weenie director
Yes.
pretty well.
And so unlike the other 2 movies where it was very blatant who the killer was, like very blatant because they would just be like, you didn't kill nobody. Not to say that I said that you did kill anybody. Like it was just
But
very
you didn't.
obvious.
Look at the camera Halpert style.
Yeah. Everybody in 1 and 2 did that.
Yeah.
This one, it was like, oh.
You're like, really?
And then you're
That's
like,
kinda
oh,
like
you're a brother.
You
Okay.
find out when Sydney finds out, and you're like, really? At
Yeah.
the same time she said really.
Yes.
So I think that was on purpose, which is probably the only good thing they did in this movie.
Yes.
Was keep the killer secret.
I agree.
End of list.
I think that he did a really good job for the cards that he was dealt.
I agree, yeah. I think he did fine.
So he did
was
fine.
fine in this movie.
Yeah, no, I liked him.
Yeah.
I just feel bad that this was his first role.
You gotta get started
It's
somewhere.
really shitty.
Alternate for Bianca, who was Carrie Fisher. Jamie Lee Curtis.
That would have been funny.
Which would have been pretty funny.
Actually, I think I would have preferred her.
Don't hate on Carrie Fisher.
No, I love Carrie, but I think just in terms of like horror movies, you know what I mean? Jamie Lee Curtis, there was like they mentioned her so much in the first one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
that's
it
true.
makes sense.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But then Randy wouldn't have been alive to be like, oh, you look like Jamie Lee Curtis. Sorry. Matthew Lillard said that he was originally going to be the killer, that he survived, went to jail, and was influencing people from prison. That was Kevin Williamson's original script.
Yes.
They turned that into The Following,
Yeah.
which is was a show on Fox that the first episode was good.
Yes,
And
love the first episode.
The rest of the show
Was terrible.
Was so unbearable. It was 2013.
Yes.
That's what it came out.
And that, like, we have a friend that is very well versed into, like, the Scream lore.
The Screamverse, if you will.
And that was the one thing that he just kept saying, like, ha, you know that, right? Like, you mentioned that the following was actually supposed to be really what Scream 3 was.
So it's like a culty Scream kills, like shit like that.
That would have been
which is pretty cool.
Amazing.
The way they did the following, it was like, okay, he was very influential and he made people kill people.
Right.
Which would have been cool under the whole mask of Scream.
Yes.
I think that would have worked.
Oh,
that would have been a great TV show.
Yeah.
If it was like on
Done
HBO.
Right. Yeah. I think on Fox they had their limitations and it just looked really, it wasn't that good.
The biggest thing with the following was like the first episode like made sense. It was logical.
Yeah.
But then
it just got worse.
All these things were so like unrealistic, perfect timing. It was like nonstop that. Like it was like Sherlock Holmes, everything's perfect, the end.
Yeah.
It was just so bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
That was garbage. So
yeah.
we stopped watching it immediately. And I remember your mom was like, it's so good.
Yeah, I know.
Only film in the franchise not written by Kevin Williamson. Sad face.
Again, shows.
Miramax was so concerned about protecting the plot that no journalists were allowed to see it until 2 days before it opened.
That's sad.
At one point, Wallace, snarky cop, was going to be a killer.
That would have been interesting.
Which would have been interesting because he was very on and off.
Yeah.
He was just like here, snark, and then there.
Yeah.
That's it. Tom was the Dewey.
Yes.
Alternates for him, Paul Walker, Josh Hartnett.
That would have been good.
And James Vanderbeek.
Oh, that would have been funny.
That would have been funny, right?
That would have been really funny.
I think Vanderbeek would have been fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
They weren't sure if they were going to kill Kincaid. He was like a 50-50. They were going to keep him or kill him at that end scene.
Oh, that's interesting.
Once they remembered to add him back in, of course.
That's really funny. That's so funny.
Alternate for Parker Posey was Téa Leoni.
Interesting.
Which, I mean, Parker Posey kind of killed it.
Yeah, I think Parker Posey was the best.
She definitely was.
Yeah.
Alternates for Angelina.
Yeah.
Alicia Silverstone, Claire Danes, Allison Hannigan, Eliza Dushku.
So that's so funny that those were the alternate people, but they wound up going with like all these like kind of...
Yeah, the lessers.
Yeah. Huh.
Sarah Darling was alternates for Sarah, Jenny McCarthy. Tara Reid.
That would have been great.
Allie Larder.
Oh, Tara Reid would have been the best. Oh, I wish Tara Reid was in it.
Yeah.
She's so much more believable as that character.
I know. Well, even like the early phase of Tara Reid where like she wasn't like a dumpster fire of a human.
Oh God.
Yeah, she that?
Do you remember her she had an E Hollywood or E show? E Hollywood show. E Hollywood.
The E show? Wouldn't she just get like fucked up somewhere?
Yeah, she would just literally get fucked up. She'd be like, Tara Reid does the man. No, like Tara Reid parties around the world, everybody. And she would just get fucked up.
She would get so fucked up.
She'd get fucked up, finger banged. She'd be like, I love fucking Brazil. And you're like, what are you? You're in Florida.
This is the show. You're in Miami.
I love Brazil.
Costa Rica's the best.
Like, you're in Canada. What are you doing?
Like you're in your house.
Can you just say, I love Tara Reid? Sorry. That's my Tara Reid impersonation.
A+, Sharknado.
Okay. I give this one 2 paws way down. 2 thumbs way down. Fuck this movie. I hate it.
Honestly, you can skip this movie.
Don't even. Don't even fucking. It's not a part of the trilogy. Number 4 is more a part of the trilogy than number 3.
Yeah. We'll watch 3, so this makes sense, but then be like, I'm never watching this again.
Yeah. This is just awful.
Don't rewatch this. Okay, and that's Scream 3.
Yeah, fuck this movie.
Holy shit, amazing, right?
Oh, God.
I know, more Cotton Weary is needed. Spin-off show, Cotton Weary.
Honestly, the 2 things that I want from it is more Cotton Weary, and even I'll take some of the shitty Gale show.
I'll take the Gale show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love me some shitty Gale.
Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah, see you next time.
Follow us on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, follow us on Twitter.
@BoardPod. Tweet us.
Love us. Fuck us.
Okay. Right. We're going to cut it after that. All right, bye, kids.
Bye. Stay safe.
Stay safe.